All right, well, this is perfect. Timing is perfect to start episode 241 of the Current Gen podcast. My name is Tim. I'm here with Kyle, and Derek is back. I can't tell what Derek's been playing. We'll just have to guess until we get to what
Yeah,
you're currently playing. I can't really tell based on his
I have
background,
no
that's for
idea.
sure.
It's
I
a
have no
giant
idea.
metaphor for something, that's
Yeah, I
for
have
sure.
no idea.
There you go.
So we're going to be talking about some new releases this week, some pretty major games, and some niche genres, but it seems like they're doing really well commercially and critically, so that's awesome. So we'll talk about those. We'll close out the show with, if we have time, I'm assuming we will, doing some blind rankings together that I don't even know. There's a website called blindrank.net that they use a lot for,
Oh,
TikTok and whatever else. So we're going to use that. We're going to do some random ones just for video games together, and we're going to see how we rank it. But we'll get to that at the end. But yeah, first wanted to just share. First of all, my wife is the best gift giver. She really is. Like she knows what each person, including me and all the kids, likes, and she gets like like I might think I don't need another mug, but she'll get me just the right Death Star mug that I'm like, but I needed that mug. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I didn't know I needed that. Or she got me these. Check these out.
It was Tim's birthday. Happy birthday, Tim. No.
Oh, that's cool.
I need to get
Oh
this one to.
man,
I
I,
don't know
I
why
should
it's
go
still.
get
I
I
don't know
should
why
go
it's
get mine, and
flashing.
we can have Skype
I don't know why
lightsaber
it's. I
battles.
don't know why it's flashing, but anyway, yeah, it's really cool. But these are cool, and they come with little mounts, so I can put them up on the wall.
Oh man,
Um,
that's so
it's got.
cool.
They come with these things right here, so I can just kind of set them up, so I can probably hang them
Oh, that would
like
be cool.
up here, and they can
Yeah,
just glow on against the wall.
I
So
might actually
she
buy
knows.
those if I can hang them up on the wall.
yeah.
Yeah,
That actually would be
Man,
cool.
yeah.
no, there is a whole world of saber hilt collecting, and you can do anything with them in terms of displaying them. So
So
take a
this
peek into
actually
that
has the
crazy
attachment
rabbit
where it
hole.
can be
Oh,
Go together,
the
yeah,
dual
yeah.
saber. Yeah, yeah. So
Get a little staff
she
on.
gets it. She gets
Ah,
it.
she gets it. That's
Uh,
good.
New hat because America. You know what I'm saying?
America.
Um,
MAGA,
yep.
MAGA.
That's exactly. This looks
Yeah,
like a MAGA hat, right?
yeah.
Uh,
You got the
The
beard.
people
You
who are
got the
just
MAGA
listening are
hat.
like, "Is it really a MAGA?"
and last but not least, my birthday was not mostly, about a third of it was spent in the ER today. There's my thumb injury. It's all
Nice.
bandaged up. I sliced myself really good, like a dummy. Let me just tell you real quick, because all of you can relate to this. Doesn't matter what kind of project you're doing. I was installing a dishwasher, but it could be as simple as like I'm just trying to cut up a box to make it fit in the garbage can. Like it could be that simple when you just kind of have the knife and you're like, I probably shouldn't, because you can almost envision it. You're like, when you're kind of really cutting down, you're not paying attention and you're trying to go fast. Was just trying to cut a zip tie that was around a tube that I needed
Yeah.
to like loosen for this install. And all I had to do was stand up, go over to the drawer, get a pair of scissors out, use those, clip the zip tie, done. But I already had my pocket knife right there. So I just used
Yeah.
that. And so I was pushing down as hard as I could, with my hand kind of pushing on the ground. And this one went straight down. And I literally stabbed I mean, the nurse practitioner that came in to like look at it, he goes, yeah, I can see some fatty tissue. That's pretty far down in there. I was like, shut up.
Ooh,
Like it stabbed really far into my thumb.
nice.
And it's one of those ones that I felt right away and I started going, idiot, you idiot. Why did you do that? Like, because
Yeah.
I knew I just
It
ruined
always happens when you're Russian,
the
you know.
middle of my day. I didn't
Yeah.
need to do, oh, so stupid. The
I
good news,
thought when you told me you had done it through text, I was like, oh, he's trying to commit suicide because he thought Penn State was going to lose. He was so upset he was trying to take his life.
that was funny because
Sad to think about.
they had me all numbed up. I haven't had a tetanus shot in probably 10, 15 years, so they had to give me a new tetanus shot. So I'm in there getting numbed up and a tetanus shot, and I'm laying there and I turn on the Penn State game, which had just started, and they went down like 17-3 early in the game. And I'm just like, this is the worst day
This is
ever.
the worst thing. Oh no.
It turned out great for Penn State. Great
Turned
finish to
out
that game.
okay.
But anyway, all that to say, it's been kind of a crazy birthday day, but everything's
Well,
fine now.
happy birthday.
Yeah,
Happy
happy
birthday.
one.
Thank you. 4 stitches later, everything's good. I will
Yeah.
tell you though, I'm not sure how adept I'll be at playing on it with a controller.
Yeah,
So I
that
might
will
have to do
suck.
some I might have to do some keyboard and mouse for the next week or two, which is actually fine. There's a lot of games I want to try on PC. So I might actually give Throne and Liberty another go since that's keyboard. I play that with keyboard and mouse anyway. So whatever. That's a first world problem if I've ever heard one. I can't play games the way I prefer. What a jerk.
I mean,
yeah.
I would whine about that.
I
Yeah,
would
okay.
too.
I don't
yeah.
whine about
I
a
would
lot of
whine
things.
I'd whine so
Yeah.
hard about that. This is
I don't
bullshit.
whine a lot.
Like,
Yeah, I don't whine about a lot of things, but I would definitely make a post in our group and be like, dude, I can't
I
play
can't
games.
play
like
games the way I want to right now. Yeah, that's
My
me, man.
preferred way of gaming is now limited. That's literally
no,
the,
I have to
And like,
watch
I could still kind
shows.
of play it that way, but it
I
kind
can
of
still
stings
kind
a
of
little
play,
bit.
yeah.
You know, like, God, it's the worst thing ever, and it really is. I agree.
I do have to take a break. I'm spending a lot of time playing guitar and trying to get my skills in guitar playing back up, and that's definitely on the shelf
that's out,
because I
yeah.
can't push. You have to push with your if you don't haven't played guitar, you have
Yep.
to push on the back of the neck of the guitar
Yep.
a lot to create most chords, and so yeah, that's kind of out for at least a few days. But whatever, everything's fine.
At
I
least you
ended up
didn't cut it off.
I didn't cut it off. It didn't
You could
like
have
I
gotten a really
actually.
cool robot one, you know, if it
It
did get cut off.
Do they have those? I want
I
one.
don't know. I'm sure we're getting there. You know.
Yeah, we're
Like-
getting closer.
Just like-
Cyberpunk's becoming a reality.
Yeah, it's like you're better at gaming than ever
Yeah.
because like you can like control it down to the macro
Yeah.
movement. You know.
I can
I mean,
finally play
Cyberpunk
Rocket
was-
League the way I want.
Cyberpunk was all about like upgrading yourself to like be like a badass. We
Yeah.
live in a society where we upgrade ourselves to look like plastic. like
It's true. Yeah.
be
I want to get out of the
beautiful.
plastic phase and get into
Yeah,
the
can we move
the
into
cyberpunk
the-
phase?
can we get into the
and
metal?
if dystopia comes with it, so be it. You know,
Yeah,
it's
that's
a way
fine.
cooler aesthetic.
The price I'm willing to pay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so overall it was fine. Hey, the dishwasher is installed. I came back all bandaged up, and like a man, I finished the job. Okay, so we
Man of the
we-
house.
we ran our first load of dishes. I don't see any leaks. I think everything's good. Here's the irony, though, before I move on to other stuff. I wanted to install it to save myself. I think Home Depot was going to charge like whatever, $150
Oh,
for
no.
install or something, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
that's
screw that. I can do that. I watched the YouTube video. I was like, I can take 2 hours on a Saturday and do this. And I'm using that money for other stuff. My ER visit's probably going to be twice that, at least.
Yeah.
So,
and time and the time.
and the
All that
time and the
time.
pain. And now I can't play
Mhm.
games the way I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Which is the
That's-
worst part of this.
That's why that's the two reasons why I won't build a PC. And I know you just did it, so awesome. Kudos to you. But like I just know I'll screw it up,
Same.
which
That's
then
how I
will
am.
cost me more money. Plus, I really get angry if I waste my time. Like I'm one of those that's like,
Yeah.
I wasted 2
Same.
hours of my time or whatever.
No,
I get
I'll
pissed.
spiral about it for weeks. Like,
Yeah.
which is ironic. You know, like I will waste more time thinking about wasting time. Yeah, it's a problem. I'm there with you, Derek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, I'm alive. Family's good. Yeah. So let's jump into some new games that are out right now. Let's start with the one that Derek's got floating right behind his head, and that is Metaphor ReFantasio. Did I say that right? I don't know if that's how you say it. It's
You know,
kind of
they
like
never say it. They never say it in the game. There's never like this is a real metaphor, real ReFantasio, you know, ever. So I don't really know how it's.
Yeah.
We really are in a metaphor ReFantasio situation right now, guys. What do we do?
it's like I've always said about metaphors. They
They're
ReFantasio.
ReFantasio, am I right?
It's
Yeah.
it's
What
got
a
like
what
a
a name! What
it's got
a
like an
name.
Italian sound to it, right? ReFantasio, like it just kind of
ReFantasio.
Yeah, it sounds like it should be
nothing
Italian.
about this game.
No,
Just
no,
FYI.
no, no,
No.
not a little bit. It is very anime. I did play, I don't know, maybe like 2 hours of the prologue, maybe not quite 2 hours of the prologue. And by play, I mean watch. I watched 2 hours of the prologue because, guys, Derek, I can't believe you're enjoying this game. There's so many cutscenes and dialogue. I mean,
This is why I
so
didn't
many.
like. At first, I was shocked that he liked Persona, but once I knew he
Yeah.
liked Persona, I was like, he's prepped for this. Even
Got
though
it.
I would say there's
Persona's a
still,
lot of dialogue too. That's true.
yeah, but this is definitely a lot more for sure.
Well, it's a lot of sit back, put your controller down type of
But-
dialogue.
Like since we're kind of jumping in, this is more interesting. So don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna like start beating
Yeah.
down Persona games because I loved 5 and I enjoyed 3 a lot. I liked 5 more than 3, but both are really good. But those games have a lot of like what I call pointless dialogue, meaning like, "Hey, how was school? It was good." Blah blah
Chitter
blah.
chatter.
Shut up, dude.
yeah,
Shut up.
yeah, they really
But
lean
this-
into the sim part of
Yeah,
that. You know what I
this
mean? Like,
game, I'm 10 hours in. Yes, they chit chat a lot, but it's not like day-to-day stuff.
No, it's
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 like
cool fantasy stuff.
it's fantasy, it's mission based, it's all there's like a point to what they're talking about, and I like it. It's almost got like uh right now where I'm at, like a Game of Thrones vibe to it, like where
Yeah.
all the conversations are about how are we going to take down this villain, and they're actually coming up with ways to do it and strategize. So it's all interesting. I'm not
Yeah.
saying they don't talk forever or too long or whatever, but it's interesting. Whereas I will admit, like in the Persona games, I'll fast forward through a lot of stuff. If I know it's like pointless dialogue, I'm like, I'm done, checked out.
Yeah.
This
And
game,
then
I
you see
haven't
it
done
for
that.
3 minutes, like fast for, you're because that's how long it is.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and to more of the talking and stuff like that, like there's a lot of like, I'm done with this like dungeon or mission, we'll go back to town, and then you always like eat dinner afterwards, and like there's
Hmm.
dialogue there, but it's like it's really engaging because it's some sort of like world building, or they're talking about a character, or they're plotting to assassinate somebody or whatever. I feel like it's all stuff that's like pushing stuff forward, and like Derek said, not day-to-day stuff like, boy, can you believe what's happening? At the
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Like, no, like the stuff that's
Did you
happening is
finish your homework?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, they might
I'm
start
really
getting
stressing out
into
about the
that.
exams, man. Like there's not a lot of that. Yeah, everything is about
Y-
the main quest of what's going on, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
some of the side stuff that you do come across is very like to the times. Like I did a mission where like this person was like waxing poetic about an old friend of theirs, and they're like, boy, I really miss that person, and then immediately they meet them, and now they're like a racist piece of shit. And like, so it's like
Ah.
it's just like it's entertaining, interesting things, and it's like kind of reflections of kind of stuff that's going on maybe today, or people experience and stuff like that, and the stuff that fantasy and sci-fi should be doing, where like you're holding up a mirror to like society and stuff like that, and like maybe not making
Mhm.
like big broad statements, but like just like being like, hey, that stuff is
Mm.
happening here too, so you have a little bit more to like soak your teeth into, and in terms of like what's going on in that world. And I do like all that stuff. I feel like all the side stuff is really world building, or kind of like little nuggets of like, oh, this is what's going on with this culture, or these people,
Yeah.
or these people are really hated by everybody else, because there's a lot of class system stuff going on in this.
Yeah.
Where are you exactly, Derek, without like spoil, like without, because I'm further than 10 hours, but
Uh,
I just want to,
s- so I am on the mission, right on the mission where you have accepted that you're going to run for like
oh,
whatever the
cool.
position. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So I'm
and that's,
actually traveling there. I just got in the like vehicle that goes super
that's
fast.
so funny. I'm actually not too far beyond that. So maybe just a
Okay.
couple hours beyond that. So, very cool stuff. Yeah. And like this was in the promotional stuff, but like basically the setup is that like the king was murdered. He was
Hmm.
murdered by this guy who obviously wants to replace him, but
And
through
that happens
some
before you even get to a main menu in
that yeah,
the
Yeah.
absolutely.
cinematic.
It
Yeah.
opens up with Regicide, like that's how it
Yeah.
opens up. And then and it becomes this thing about like that some weird magical thing. Again, this is all in the promotional, so I'm not spoiling anything. That like through some weird act of magic, the king's face appears in the sky and is like, we're gonna have some sort of situation where the people are gonna choose their king, and
Hmm.
and he utilizes magic to make sure that like the top runners are not going to be like assassinated or whatever, because what has to happen is that you have to win the kingship through audience or people favor, so you're trying
Population.
it's a popularity
Hmm.
contest
This is a
pretty
game
much.
about free and fair elections. That's what this game is about.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
I'm serious. There are like things about like rigged elections and how these people are
Yeah.
lobbying for the. I'm telling you, like it's very, very, very like political, but not like in a like, oh, I don't like this kind of way, and just
Yeah.
Yeah,
and just a
yeah, like
and like
they're
a Game of Thrones
Democratic or
way.
Republican. Yeah.
Yeah, very
It's
Yeah,
yeah.
just
there's
There is a
just
it's just
Mufasa.
we're just
it's
telling a
Mufasa in the air.
story.
Yeah, good imagery. Absolutely. Going, a king will be chosen or whatever. And yeah, and
Yeah.
everyone is vying for it. And the
And
church comes up with this idea of like, hey, well, let's have these people, let's turn it into a game. So now it's a tournament for the top
yeah,
viers who want to be king, are going on this like city to city campaign mission to get people on their side to, elect them king or whatever. And yeah, so it's an election. You're
That's like
lobbying.
a
You're going,
tiny little touch of like Hunger Games where you're trying to get sponsors to help you when you go
yes,
into the
yeah,
arena and stuff like that. I also see a lot of touches of good elements. This is not at all an insult because I like the Hunger Games stuff and good elements from Fire Emblem as well. Not the gameplay,
yes,
at all. But like, not only does your character and the character design remind me a lot of Fire Emblem games, you could argue that Fire Emblem is taken from the Persona and Shin Megami Tensei series. Totally fair. I think they probably borrowed from each other or they have similarities, whatever. But this reminds me heavily of that. It doesn't hurt that the main character has like blue hair and two different color eyes. I'm like, this wasn't
Yeah.
engaged, wasn't it? You know what I mean? Like, it just
No, you're absolutely
immediately
right.
makes me think of that.
Well,
But that being
they're both
said,
their
even the return back to like have dinner and have a chat with someone or choose how you want to spend your time, it's not the same as Persona. It actually feels a little more like how I spent my time in Three Houses compared to Persona, where you're going around, talk to the people you
That's
want to talk
such a
to,
good point.
build the
Yeah.
relationships you want to build, and then get to the next dungeon or battle
That
or
is such a
whatever.
good it's way more that. Yeah, you could still argue that there's a lot of Persona in it because you
Of
are still like
course.
choosing
Yeah.
what to do and yada yada. But I totally agree with that. That there is way more parallel with Three Kingdoms and Fire
Uh-huh.
Emblem and stuff like that. And even because both of these things are both fantasy, but they're both kind of their own type of fantasy. They're not
Right.
really borrowing too many things from other fantasy things. I
Yep.
guess that kind of makes them kindred spirits
And that's
as
like a
well. But
serious kind of grounded fantasy. Even though there's magic and
yeah,
crazy stuff, it's like politics and backstabbing and there's
yes,
gray area of right and wrong. These games
yeah.
really explore, and this game clearly, even early on in the prologue, which is what I'm playing, it's clear that they're doing that.
There's so much in that prologue. It just kept going and going. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Derek,
a
how are you?
common,
I
I
was
was
gonna
just
say, how
gonna
are you enjoying?
say,
Like, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead and ask.
I was just gonna
Nothing I
ask.
was gonna say was that important.
I was just gonna ask how are you enjoying the combat and stuff like that?
Mm,
So I really like the combat. So that was like the part that was like I literally beat Persona 3 Reloaded and then started. I had already played a little bit of the prologue, but I hadn't really gotten into it, and then I really jumped into this game. Um, and that was the part that was like a little jarring at first because yes, you would think, well, it's easy, it's just doing real time combat combined with, and then it goes into, you know, um, turn based. But it was like a little jarring to like learn all the systems because it's still really different, especially like all of the, I'm gonna forget the names, but you can switch basically your classes, which
Oh, your
changes like
archetype
your
instead of
special.
persona,
Yeah,
it's
your
archetypes
archetypes.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, by the way,
the way you
synonyms. So-
yeah. So the way you could change those, and I was like kind of overwhelmed. Like I don't know if I should. Am I supposed to be changing these, or should I stay? All that was a little overwhelming at first, but now that I'm 10 hours in and I'm starting to catch on to things and how it works, I really really like the combat. In fact, that's like going back to like what the conversation started with. Like, how does Derek like these Persona games? Because they talk too much. I really like the combat combined with the presentation to me is top notch.
it's the
Like
most stylistic
I'm talking
game
about
like
like
ever.
across the board, like
yeah,
all the games they do. Like
Yes.
this is what they're good at. Like they're really, really good at their combat, their presentation. And then even the way I look at this game, especially, again, I just beat Persona 5 and then Persona 3 like this year. So this is all fresh. They clearly have like this template they have for their games. And they went, okay, we're going to do this new one. We're going to use this template, but we're going to modify it a little bit. And that's what they've done. So things feel very similar to what I've already experienced, but I can see the differences and I like the differences. So, even going back to the social part of it. And again, it could change because the part I'm at now is this is another system that's in all their other games. Is this now a popularity contest? So the whole point of the where I'm at is you've got to build up your popularity. So you got to do things to get people to like you. Well, that was the exact same thing you were doing in Persona 5. And
Hmm.
really in Persona 5, it was like, hey,
You had a
do they
social
like
network
us?
counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
People
do
who
they like
believed in.
us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you always had these popularity numbers and stuff like that. So there's a lot of the systems that are in there. Um, but I feel like right now, again, early on, I might get burned out or I might feel differently later. But right now, I think I told Kyle this, like in one of our communications through the Facebook um, post or something like that. I feel like this game has the potential to be the best one they've
Mhm.
released. Just because everything they're doing is
mm,
so good. It's
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
following their template, they're modifying it, but it's to that next level and it's in a fantasy world, which is
Yeah.
my preferred place. Like,
Yeah.
I don't mind high school drama games. I'm gonna play the Trails games. That wasn't just like a thing I hyped up for no reason. Like, I'm gonna play them.
Yeah.
And they're the same thing. Like, it's teenagers doing their thing.
It's
But
young people
this,
being young.
yeah,
Yeah.
but this is set in a fantasy world, which I'm a big Dragon Age fan. Like, I love those type of fantasy settings. I like the politics too. This is to me going to be
Yeah.
more political than anything. Persona had politics, but I think this
This
is
feels
going to
like
be
one of the
more
most political
political.
games I've ever played. Like I feel like the
Yeah,
whole story is just like very like, overt,
yeah,
There's nothing, I don't know. There's not a lot of undertones so far with the politics stuff. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It is they want you to realize that this is like a strong ingredient, to this particular story. So
yeah. I just really like it. I think this is it's so frustrating. Like, I'm excited it's out now, but then I'm like, in less than 3 weeks,
you
Dragon
got
Age
three
is
weeks to
coming
beat
out.
this, dude. Or
I
you got
know.
to or what? It gets
So,
shelved.
well, and that's
That's how
why
that's my timeline right
I
now. Yeah.
grinded out Silent Hill 2, so I was like, I gotta focus on this game only. But like, I'm like frustrated because I'm like, this is going to take forever, and I will
They
get.
said 80 to 100 hours.
Yeah, and
That's
I
what it
know
is.
me, I know my
Yeah.
personality. Once I hit that 30 to 40 hour mark, I'll be like, okay, I gotta put this on the back burner, move on
Yeah.
to something else, something to refresh me. Then I'll come back. But like, if the story hooks me and it has like an intriguing story, I won't leave. Sorry, I keep like checking because my second favorite team's like winning right now. Sorry.
Nice.
Um, I'm distracted.
And
But
I hear the story is one of the main things that everyone agreed on that's
yeah.
really good in most reviews
So
that are
if it
yeah.
hooks me, then I think I could go through it. And
Mm.
right now, like as far as how it started, I'm really
Do we know if this
really
plays
loving
well
this.
on the Steam Deck? Because I'm really
I'm
considering getting
playing
it.
it on Steam Deck. So I'm
Oh,
playing
okay.
it on PC, but I've literally used, even though I have a Lenovo Go, I've used it on
Yeah.
Lenovo Go and I use
Yeah.
it on Steam Deck because was getting hit by a hurricane. I actually my way of dealing not having power being a gamer was I took my two switches and my Lenovo Go and my Steam Deck and I plugged them all in, updated them all, got all my games
Ready to
downloaded.
go. Yeah.
This is
Yes.
real gamer shit right here. I love this.
Yeah, it
So
is.
I actually have played about 2 hours on the actual Steam Deck
Okay.
How was
and
it?
it played great. It runs
Persona
at
5 was really optimized for it, so I would have been shocked if
yeah,
this wasn't. Yeah.
zero issues. It's runs at 720p and I have everything maxed out, so I didn't turn any settings down. It looks like a little bit better than what I would say a Switch game looks like because Switch games you usually see like the jaggy edges. I don't
That's
see
right.
that here.
Mhm.
A lot of
There's none of
tearing.
that. But this
Yeah.
just looks clean. It looks good. It runs smooth. There is no like slowdowns. Again, it doesn't really matter in this game. When we say there's like the action RPG side of it, it's literally, which by the way, I didn't talk about this. This is really cool. You're running up to you're running up to enemies if they're lower level or equal to
Oh,
you, you can basically just wipe them out, right? Which
Hmm.
saves you time, which is awesome, and you get all the experience like you would if you entered into turn based, which you can still just go into
mhm.
turn based if you're a turn based gamer. But also the cool thing that I really like, and yes, you could do this in the Persona games, but not like this, is if you know it's a higher level enemy or you don't know the enemy level, meaning like if you hit left trigger, it'll send out like this like ray that will
Scan.
let you know, yeah, it'll scan it and let you know, hey, I don't know what the level of this enemy is, which usually generally tells me, it's probably going to be a real fight. So if you go up to them and you quickly start mashing like your hit button, you can perform like a combo. If you get the full combo off without them interrupting you, you get an advantage when it goes into turn base,
Yeah, they'll be
and
stunned. Yeah.
they'll immediately do like a combo on them, which most of the time like takes half their bars down, stuns them, and then you can just like finish them off. If they interrupt you, they gain the advantage.
Mhm.
And yes, they can interrupt you. They have done it to me several times. Now, most of the time I get the combo off and I'm good, but they have interrupted me in the past or several times. But like it's a cool, unique thing that again, you kind of got that in Persona, but it was more like trying to sneak up on them and hit them with one shot,
It was
and then
yeah,
you
it's
just
more of like hitting him from
yeah,
behind gave you
yeah.
advantage, but yeah, this is a
This
little
is
more
cooler.
involved. Yeah,
This is
and you can
cooler. I
dodge
like
too.
this
So
better.
like if you kind of get into a little tit for tat, with a guy, like yeah, you can dodge and get out of the way and stuff like that too. So that is pretty
Nice.
cool. I do like
So
that.
everything they're doing is it's an improvement in my opinion over
Yeah.
what they had done previously, and I wouldn't rate Persona 5 or 3 lower than a 9.
That's
So
fair. Yeah.
to me, this game so far is a 9.5/10, like where I'm at
Ye-
now, but I'm
Yeah.
barely scratching it. But I don't see it
That's
go like
consistent
I
with what
don't.
I'm seeing out there. So
Yeah, I don't see myself playing the game and just magically being like, you know what, I hate this, unless I'm like, one of those cool DEI gamers now that I look for something to hate and then whine about it and be like, I can't play this game. They had a woman who beat up a guy. I can't play it. No. So I don't think that's gonna happen. I
yeah, if
think
you
I'll
start
just
yelling about Sweet Baby Inc., I'm not going to take your opinion seriously anymore. I think.
I mean, all my posts going forward are gonna be warnings to you guys.
Oh my
This has
gosh.
Sweet Baby Ink in
Oh
it.
my gosh. Yeah,
God.
please. I really need
I'm
to hear more
kidding,
about that.
people that are listening.
Everyone relax. Hey, I will say this too about the game. So I've only played a little bit of the prologue. I'm nowhere near as far into, I don't have the full game yet like you guys do. But I really I'm playing on the English, dubbed version. I think the voice
Yeah.
acting is excellent. I love the
It's
British
absolutely great.
accents for everything, or for most of the characters at least. And so I think the writing
Yeah.
and the voice acting is really good. It's very like captivating. It's kind of very much like watching an anime series or something. Like
And it
I feel
does
like I've
burst
gotten
into full
through.
blown anime scenes where it's
It
just like,
does.
here you go,
Yeah.
here's a new art
I
style.
feel like
Boom.
I've watched the first episode of a really epic show, and now I have to decide like, am I putting aside all of the shows to just watch this, or now just play this? So
Hmm.
I only played it through. I beat the first boss, so I've only experienced a little bit of what you guys are talking about, but enough of it that I got a taste, and I was like, this is really
I
good.
think you should. I don't. You don't have to buy it or anything. Obviously, I can't make you. But like, I think you should at least get through the prologue
I
because I'm not
agree.
gonna
Yeah.
spoil it. But there's some cool stuff that happens like story wise because there's certain characters that I really liked in the prologue.
Mhm.
That they do stuff to them, and I'm like, oh, this makes this way more intriguing to want to keep playing it. If you
Yeah.
get to the end of the prologue and you go, not worth $60, and I say $60 because I know Tim can get a copy of it on PC for 60, not worth $60 to me, then don't
Yeah.
do it. But if
Yeah.
you get to that point and you're like, I like the combat, I really like what they did with the story, I think it's easily for you because I know you like RPGs. And just
Hmm.
like you, I'm not just saying this because you said it, I actually thought about it as I was playing on the Steam Deck today. I was like, I feel like I'm playing Fire Emblem. But no,
Yeah.
I mean, I know the differences. So
Of
Yeah.
course.
people don't yell. I know
We're
the
all
But the
saying the same
things
differences.
thing.
that hook me about
But
Fire
the vibe
Emblem,
of
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
yeah,
was Fire Emblem, and I was like,
yeah.
oh, I love like one of my. This is before I got into Persona games, but one of my like games, and I'm gonna go back and beat it by the way, was when I'm forgetting the name of it now, but it was when Nintendo took Fire Emblem and Persona
The
took
Mirage
the
one,
S.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Mirage. Yeah,
Mirage.
Tokyo Mirage. Yeah,
Mirage
yeah,
Tokyo
Sessions,
Mirage,
yeah.
and they
something.
brought them
Yeah,
together,
something like
and
that.
that was actually my favorite Persona SMT game.
Yeah.
For the longest
I
time,
played
I
like
got
half of
really
that game
far
and
in it.
really liked it and never beat it for whatever reason. I
Yeah,
really like that
it's
game too, yeah.
that's exactly what happened to me, but that was prior to me being into these games where I wasn't committed, where it was like
Mm.
once I got to
Well, now
15,
you like
20
the
hours
whole
and
other side of it now, yeah.
now that I like everything and I can handle all the social stuff and stuff like that, I get their patterns, I get their systems. That's a game I could totally love. But anyways, they use Fire Emblem characters in that game. Like you
Yeah,
pull off your special moves with Fire Emblem characters. So I got that vibe while I was playing this. This is definitely it's easily going to be in the top 10 this year, but I can honestly say this knowing Dragon Age is coming out, this could potentially be like my personal game of the year. If it like keeps going in the direction it's going in, doing what it's doing and I feel the way I feel now, it's really good. It's
yeah,
really good. And I think
yeah.
it's a Tim game. I don't think it's just a Derek and Kyle game. I think it's a Tim game.
I think it
Or
is
Dan.
too.
I
The
know
stupid.
Dan's
Yeah,
not
there
here, but
there are other things that I think Tim would like and other people as well if they're looking for like, well, what kind of vibe art fantasy wise is it? I feel like, and this is like for the anime people out there, big Attack on Titan vibes because the
Yes,
humans are giant human
the
Titan
giant
like bad guys,
monsters.
and you're in a
Yeah,
walled off city, like that city
yep.
that you're in
I
is a
got that
giant walled
too,
off
man.
city.
Yeah.
very Attack on Titan,
Mhm.
and then very Berserk, So if anyone's ever seen the Berserk
Oh, I know what you're
anime,
talking about. Yeah,
so
yeah.
dark, dark, dark fantasy, So it's like if those are kind of like what you like, and again, like your Fire Emblems, especially Three Houses, was a lot more political, a lot darker, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if any of these things are your flavor, I think that this is at least worth checking out. And sadly, I will say it does take the full 5.5, 6 hours. I would say that the prologue is to really get a full feel for everything that the game is.
Yeah.
And I feel like and
Yeah,
I
that
know that
first
sounds
little
like a long
dungeon run
time.
is too simple,
Yeah.
especially combat wise. I'm like, I know this isn't all of it, so I'm not
Yes.
judging it based off of that. So I didn't. That's why I
No,
have nothing really to add about combat. It was just
right.
like I essentially had two options in that whole dungeon: this
Well,
kind of
and you
attack or
had
that
just
kind of
gotten the
attack. That's all I
big like
wanted.
you just gotten the big transformation, which like that's
The,
the game.
right,
Like
and that's
like
only in the
and
final boss fight.
2 hours later,
Yeah,
you're gonna have like 6 more transformations, and you're gonna be like, I
yeah.
don't know what I need to do. And by the way, little cool quality of life thing. If you just press the faceplate button on PS5 or whatever it is on computer, it will tell you what everybody online is using at that moment that you're at in the game. So if you're like, I don't
What?
know what I need to be using right now class wise, it's so overwhelming. I have too many classes or whatever. Hit that button. A lot of people are aligned on what you're supposed to use in that area, and you can just be like, I'll just
Dang.
take this build real quick. And you can even click on the build, and it's like, would you like to select this build? And it'll just turn all your characters into the build that you're looking for. So there is a lot of stuff there. If you're ever feeling overwhelmed, the game is like, we got you, don't worry. And I haven't used any of that stuff. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
actually have used the thing a couple times to check builds, but like,
that's
there's a lot of
awesome.
stuff that is completely optional. But like, and it's not handholdy. I don't think it's just like they're just nice little tips.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, so far I think the prologue thing is absolutely worth people giving it a shot. It's free, so why not go give it a
Right.
try?
A lot of
And if
time
you're a
too.
Fire Emblem fan, anime fan, JRPG fan, any of those kind of things, if you like a good, political, backstabbing, complex fantasy story, all those things, go give Metaphor ReFantasio a try.
Mhm.
Uh,
ReFantasio.
it's a Mario game all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so this is a really impressive game, and I'm really glad they did the prologue. And I'm thrilled for them because it is their, I think, fastest selling
Yeah, they hit a
Atlas
million.
game. On a first day, they hit over 1 million sales, according to Atlas, which is
Well, I bought it
crazy.
twice, so
You're a
I'm
part of that. You're a part of that.
part of the
Yeah.
problem.
But yeah, that's crazy. I also would have assumed that some of their other games sold more
I
quickly, but
I said it on the podcast that this game was going to sell poorly, and I was totally wrong. So,
yeah,
whoops. Yeah.
Really,
I mean
you
I
that's a
said
just
good
that?
I
Mm.
Well,
that's a good
the
thing to
only
get
reason
wrong
I
about
thought
to get
that,
wrong.
Derek, because I don't think you were here when I said that, was I think the name was gonna keep people from buying it.
Okay.
Or I didn't hate the name, but I just like sometimes when names are too weird, people are like, I don't want to play that.
Yeah,
And I
it's
just
true.
realized that they were like really marketing it in a really huge way where I'm like, why are they marketing it this much? That must like there must
Mm.
be like projections online that aren't being met, you know what I mean? Whether it be pre-orders or
Oh, like
engagement
a
online
like
and
a
stuff
Yeah.
push
like
to
that.
make up lost ground or
Yeah.
something.
So they're like, we
Yeah,
need. Like that's where I was, and I was totally wrong. Maybe the extra marketing helped. Obviously, 1 million copies in a single day for any franchise is very good. So,
very good.
and this
It's
is a
really really good.
turn-based RPG that's kind
Yeah,
of hardcore. It's hard, dude. Like, or at least
yeah.
Persona games, like you need to grind. You need to know the mechanics. You will get wiped by like small enemies. Like if you're just like if you get
Mm,
complacent and sometimes. So
Yeah.
like it,
yeah.
it surprises me that these games are selling, that this is
If
selling so
you
well.
play this at normal and above, they will wipe you.
You need to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to know what the hell they're telling you and teaching you. Otherwise, you'll get destroyed. I did do like a side mission that it was pretty cool. Speaking of the classes, going back to that, where if you go and buy like intel from that guy in Humblebee or whatever it's called,
The honeybee
um,
inn. Yeah.
Humblebee, um, Honeybee, he told me like, hey, if you go fight this beast, he freaks out if he sees like mage stuff, like
Mm.
mage and healer. So if you're a
Mm-hmm.
mage or a healer class, which by the way, turned my main character into a really powerful mage. I was like level 17, like the mage was level 17, the archetype. Um, so I was not wanting to change that. In fact, I was like, well, I'm probably powerful enough. I could beat him. And then right when I got to like the fight, they were like, you really should. He gets really mad. Like you're gonna call. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll just change to a different class. But I had to change to fight that guy. So I like that they have that in the systems. Like you can you can go do it this way, but you're gonna make your life really, really hard.
Yeah, if you don't
Or
pay
you can,
attention to stuff like that,
yes,
yeah,
or you can
you'll be
buy
humbled.
intel, which they really encourage you. Like buy all the intel you can, because these guys help you on all your missions. They tell
It
you
could
how
even give
to.
you a heads up to a side quest when you're buying some
Yes,
intel.
also
Yeah,
like leveling up and like what food, like what ingredients you need for food that helps you in battles and stuff like that. So there's a lot of systems in place. And this, like going back to Kyle's point, it's pretty amazing that we've gotten here to where there's so many of us hardcore gamers that there is they're gonna sell more than a million copies, but there are over a million of us that we know these systems, we know how to play these games. That even something that's scary like this, or even like an Elden Ring, like
yeah.
really,
Elden Ring
dude,
was another anomaly. I'm like, that many
these
people bought a Souls like
Yeah.
that.
this
That's
many
crazy.
people are playing games that like are the whole foundation of the game is to piss you off.
Yeah,
Kind of crazy. What does that tell you? To me, it tells you that gamers are kind of, for the most part, kind of over the whole handholdy stuff.
yeah.
They're smart. They know how to do
Yeah.
things. They want to be challenged, and this is definitely one of those games. If you're looking for a challenge, you can get it. If you want to turn it down, you can turn it down, but don't
I'm
go
with
into
you,
it
and I
thinking
do think
it's
it's more than
easy.
just the genre or difficulty, though. I do think it's just quality. So you make something that's
I
really
agree.
Yeah,
That's
good,
true.
it
Yeah.
kind of doesn't matter the genre. There's a few exceptions where it's like, hey, it was excellent, and still no one cared. All right, fair enough. But for the most part, if it's really good and people start hearing about how good it is, it critics like it, and more importantly, other users are
It's a
dude, this
currency
game
for sure.
crushes.
Being high
Yeah,
quality is a currency to get you out
yeah.
of a lot of sticky situations, in
I
a
mean, it makes
gaming
me play
industry
stuff
like
I would
this.
never play, like these weird
Same.
card game roguelikes, whatever. Like I'm like,
I
I don't
wasn't
care
gonna play
about these
Silent
kind.
Hill until all the nines came out, so
There you go.
like it's just
Hey, that's a good transition. Let's talk a little bit about the other big release from this week. The other big, at least like full game release. There's a couple other things too that are worth highlighting, but these to me are the two biggest ones.
yes.
And Silent Hill
agreed.
2 is one of them. It's from Bloober Team, so Konami handed over the keys to the team that did the Layers of Fear, and they also did the Medium, which is a very mediocre. For a
The
while, it
media.
was. I mean,
It's very
it's
medium. Yeah.
it's very medium. It was for a while. It was an Xbox exclusive. I think it's on everything now, but
It is.
it's just okay. Like it's a really very firmly in the it's just okay
It
field. It's not like almost
it's
good even.
shocking, and I like Bloober. I think they got a fun name, and I think they got a
Yeah,
lot of heart. You know
Mhm.
what
great
I
name.
mean? I think they got a lot of heart, and I feel like
Yeah.
they've been auditioning for this opportunity their entire career. I never thought in a million years Konami would be like, "Hey, get that weird studio to do our most beloved
I
piece of
know
property in the hit in our
that everyone's
history,"
been asking for.
and they did it,
Yeah,
and it's kind of crazy to me that
I
that's who they
think
got for it.
yeah.
I would. I'm just guessing. I don't have numbers here, but Konami like doesn't really care about stuff as much anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if like Bloober hit them up and there's like, yeah, how much little can we pay you to do this? We'll
Yeah,
let you do it, but we're not going to pay you a lot, and then we have to reap the benefits of it if it's successful. I wouldn't
they're
be
like, "Deal, we
surprised.
just want to do this game."
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think
could be.
I mean, I'm just guessing, but I played through the entire game. Have finished Silent Hill 2
Dang.
remake, and it's not a short game, by the way.
It's like 14
Uh,
to 18 hours, yeah, depending
yeah,
on how much you're looking around. Yeah.
I did it in 3 sessions. I just kept playing. Um,
It's a
but
lot of
like,
stress. Those are long periods of
yeah.
stress, just
Well, and
FYI.
that's why I didn't want to stop. I was like, dude, I just like
Let me
towards the
push
end of the
through. Let me
game, I
push
was like,
through.
I gotta get through this because I don't want to play this again. I'm never. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna talk about how great it is because it is a great game, but I'll never play this game again. As soon as I beat it, I immediately deleted it. I was like,
Uninstall.
I'm
Yeah,
never.
It
yeah,
is
yeah.
And I
funny that this
normally,
game is like, we want you to beat it a few times because we have a lot of
yeah,
endings, and I'm,
they
I'm
have
I'm the
8
same way where I'm like,
endings.
no thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not playing this again. They it's not like Resident Evil because like Resident Evil gives you an incentive to replay it. Like this has endings and you can unlock like a chainsaw or whatever. But with Resident Evil, you can like essentially upgrade your guns. You're kind of upgrading your
Yeah.
character,
There's
so
like
they
no
give you a
upgrade system at
reason.
all in this game.
There's no upgrade system at all. So you're literally gonna just play the same game again. Your
With a
character's not
chainsaw.
gonna be more powerful or anything.
Got it.
Yeah,
You're
except
not
for
bringing
with
some
a chainsaw.
shotgun
Yeah,
in
you're
that
not
one hit
getting
Yeah.
and
more
everything.
life. Like I don't think
Yeah.
anything upgrades. Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, because of my experience with it, it took me I think 14 hours to get through it, and I played it on easy. Like I put it on
Yeah, I'm on
baby
easy.
mode.
Yeah,
I'm
who
gonna tell you
cares?
right now, even on
You
baby
still
mode,
died.
no, I didn't die a lot. It's
Oh, that's
still
good.
annoying.
Oh,
Like
good.
there's still
Yeah.
like some stuff that I'm like, dude, are you sure this is easy mode? Because
They
you're
hit they'll
annoying.
hit like normal enemy will hit me twice and my screen is
Yeah.
red. It's like I have to
Yes.
use a health. After like
So
this is not like you're walking,
it makes me
cushion.
wonder what normal is what it made me think. And
I
I was
don't
like, you know
wonder
what?
about it
For
at
the
all.
it's terrible.
Normal is one hit kills you, and hard is if they look at you, you're dead. Like so, it
Yeah,
just
that
Yeah.
gets
sounds right.
progressively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
even the
like
puzzles on light, I'm still like, what the hell am I supposed to do right
no.
now? Like,
What is this?
Well,
Senua Saga?
the game is so obtuse. Like the whole time, like I had to follow a guide whenever
yeah,
I got
same.
into like the maze areas of like there's like I think three main areas that are like very mazy, and then there's like in the middle. This is the part I feel like they could have cut out. In the middle part, I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm just gonna be very like high level on how I explain it. But in the middle, well, middle end of the game there's like three smaller sections that if you combine them they're really just one section kind of like the other
Okay.
three, and they're just completely pointless to me. They're like
Oh
filler,
wow.
and I'm like, why did we do this?
Oh,
You're
it's like
not a short.
extending the game a little bit.
Yeah, this
Feels
is
like
not
okay.
short. You're just like continuing me to
But
do.
isn't that from
It's
the
just
original game? Didn't they like
oh
really
yeah,
recreate the
they didn't
original game?
change. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the
it's
original
all
game.
there, and there's just more stuff added. And from what I gather, most of it doesn't feel like padding, but
Yeah.
some people have different moments where it feels like padding to them. But it's
Got it.
not
Yeah.
very much, from what I understand. So,
Okay.
but it's like twice
So
as long. I think the old game you could beat in like 8 hours, and this is like in that 16
oh okay.
area. So
Well,
Hmm.
that's weird.
it is, yeah.
I thought they one to one the game. So
They
I'm
they
not.
just like added more steps to certain puzzles. They just maybe there's an extra
Oh,
like
Um,
they just made some sections a little longer
then
and
that's what I was probably annoyed by because what gets exhausting is first of all, let me give you the two things that exhausted me the most. It's the amount of like fetch quests as far as, and I expect this in survival horror. It's all throughout Resident Evil games. You're gonna run into locked doors. You gotta find pieces to solve a
Mhm,
puzzle to get a key
mhm.
to, which makes zero logical sense. Why did
mhm.
somebody hide a key in the garden
I'll
under
say it makes more sense here than in Resident Evil because Silent Hill, and these are all the games. The theme is that
yeah,
they're supposed to be kind of dreamlike. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Ah.
So
It's nothing's real.
the surrealness is like baked into its puzzling at least. Whereas Resident Evil, I'm like, this is a police station. Why is there
Yeah.
so much tomfoolery here? You
Yeah.
Yeah.
know?
Who took the gear and put it
I
in the
agree.
toilet? Like,
Yeah.
why is it there? Like,
Yeah,
Right,
why?
yeah.
I
So
agree.
at least the context is intact here, but like, yes, it is still
Yes.
like you really have to think outside the box or just look it up when it comes to these puzzles, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
because
Fair.
it's very obtuse. Like you're like going and I didn't know what direction I was going in a lot of times. Like I couldn't like again, Resident Evil, you kind of can figure it out. They kind of map it out.
Yeah.
Like you need to get
Yep.
into this door and here's a few areas you can
Especially
look
the
for stuff.
remakes, they do a good job of if you want to see where to go, it'll show you where to
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Whereas this game is like, I was like, okay, they just give you subtle hints. Like, if you know the Silent Hill games and you've
Yeah.
played this one before, you're going to know where to go. But this was my first time. So, my experience with Silent Hill, the
Oh, that makes
franchise,
sense.
is I've only played the first one for a little while, and I bought it on my PS1. I bought it with my friend, and we played for a little bit, and I thought it was because I was really into Resident Evil, but I didn't play Resident Evil. I just watched, which I've explained 1,000 times, so I'm not going to reiterate. But that was kind of what I was doing here with Silent Hill. I was very intrigued by the mystery, and I was like, "Oh, this is such a cool setup." He
Very
gets in a car
psychological.
accident, and then he's can't find, I think it's his daughter or something like that, like his child's missing. This is so cool. And then we got into it and I was like, this is the worst thing ever. Like as far as like it's too scary and we never played it again. Well, 20, 30 years later, now I'm playing Silent Hill 2. Now, I only bought this. I didn't buy it because it got nines. I had already pre-ordered it. I had made the decision. I was like, look, you really love Resident Evil games. You're probably just going to like this. Just buy it. So I bought it. I didn't expect I would like it as much as I did. But the thing is, this game is more exhausting than Resident Evil games because
Ugh.
there's two reasons why. One, I did feel like this was a lot longer, and it was like, please go get another 9 items to unlock this thing, to then get into this, to then go back all the way over here where you were. And it's just a lot of that over
Well,
and
and on
over.
top of that, it is a long time to keep you in that state of mind, that kind of like
Yeah.
paranoid, like uneasy, like
Yeah.
state or whatever. Like that's a lot. That's a taxing amount of time, you know.
And that was going to bring me to the second point is the tension. So it's a very so don't get me wrong, I obviously love it. I love Resident Evil games, and I rated this game a 9 out of 10. It's a really good game. But because it's so tense, even more tense than any Resident Evil game for me personally. And there's parts in Resident Evil that's tense. Like there's those parts where you're like, okay, this is very uncomfortable, but they're very small. It's like
Mm-hmm.
intentional. They're like, we just want you to feel unsettled here, and then we're gonna give you a shotgun, and you blow some people's heads off. This game, yes, you always have a gun and stuff, but the enemies, like for instance, there's a certain enemy throughout the entire, and I'm gonna drop my F-bomb, fucking game, because I talked to her the entire time. I'm like, you're annoying. I don't like you. You're annoying. And it's these like they're like mannequins, but they're two sets of legs.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah,
so they're almost like four-legged spiders, and they
yeah.
can hide anywhere. They just
I
like
have screamed out loud so many
yes.
times because these things just pop out of nowhere.
They're everywhere. So even if you go into it playing it the way I was, which was paranoid, and I'm like, I know you're here somewhere. I know you're here somewhere. Because you always, by the way, because Tim, you hadn't played it, there's like you have like this little radio that when you
Yes, this is
walk
the thing I
into
like
an
about.
area that it senses enemies, it like gives you feedback, which is cool because it lets you know, be on your guard. But it's also very atmospheric because it's also very creepy. Like the noises you hear are extremely creepy, which adds to the tension. So you're very tense.
Great sound
You're
design in this game, yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
it's great sound design. Everything is almost pitch black in almost every area. Not all areas, by the way, but most of the time you are. Especially middle of the game is almost all pitch black. And all you have is like this little flashlight that's very accurate, meaning like it only shows you what would you would see in real life, which is like
So
three
you just
feet
know
ahead of
you
you.
spend most of the game with just no peripheral at all.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you have no peripheral, and then you have these little four-legged freaking mannequins who can climb walls, can hide underneath things. They're everywhere. You don't hear them either, and
Mhm.
they most of the time pop out as soon as you walk in a room. So they are immediately on you, and it always, like Kyle said, it always, oh, like, what the freak, dude? And
Yeah.
that's what I would say. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop! I
No,
or
no, no. Yeah, a
yeah,
lot of that. Yeah.
or I'd be like, I saw you. Why didn't I hit you? Why'd you
Yeah.
hit me
I'll
first? Why are you
accidentally hit the
interrupting?
turnaround button
Yeah,
instead of like the attack button. So now my character is like spinning around because
yeah,
I'm panicking and hitting all the
yeah.
wrong
The
buttons, you
turnaround
know? Like
button, that is
She's
so good.
absolutely a panic enemy, and she's throughout the entire game.
yeah.
They're
Well,
uh, they're everywhere.
here's the other thing about the radio, and this is the other thing about the paranoia in this game. The radio, not always right. So
Yeah,
sometimes it'll just go off, and you're like, "Oh my god, oh my god," and then you'll get to a whole area, and you're like, "Why the heck were you on the whole time? I could have at least had a little bit of peace there." But like,
mm,
this game is designed to damage your calm in every chance that it can, in new ways, in familiar ways that you forget. They're pulling old tricks on you. You're like, I thought we were done with that. You know, this
Yeah.
game is just so brutal to the player and I love it. I just love it's so masochistic. Like I just absolutely love everything that this game throws at you
yeah.
psychologically, you know?
It's a hard game to play, but I did and I really enjoyed it. What pushed me through is yes, my love for the Resident Evil type games. These are my type of games. I like that slow, atmospheric, and when you shoot them with a shotgun, they blow back. Like I love that stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
really awesome to play. This one's just way, way more tense, and because it's longer, it's draining.
Yeah.
But what helped me push me through is what I think Silent Hill does really, really good, and it makes me want to play all the other games. I'll wait for them to be remade, and I think they will be remade. I think this one's going to be a success. Um, is their plots. Their stories are good. They always hook you right away with the mystery. This one, In case you don't know, this one is your dead wife of she died 3 years ago has written you a letter asking you to come to Silent Hill and be with her where you last were with her, or where you guys spent special time together. So you're completely confused on how your dead wife could write you a letter. And you meet all these weird characters and you're going through this weird story, but it still makes sense because the whole time you're playing it, I knew like I wasn't in a real world. So I knew this wasn't like really happening or whatever. It was all simply like how this world was played out. But the story still made sense. And then the ending, I'm still trying to piece that together. And I don't even know how I got the ending I got because I watched another video where the most common ending is not the one I got. So I'm like,
Oh,
how did I get the one that's not the most common? And nobody, here's the funny thing, the videos I watch, nobody knows how to get different endings. So you know how like in most games,
everyone's
like if
figuring
they're
that out still, huh? Okay.
yeah, well, they don't to this day know how to do it in the original Silent Hill 2. They don't know
Oh,
how you get the different endings. Like they just have theories, but even the video I watched today said to get my ending, you have to always be low health and you have to check this certain knife in the game. You have to go and evaluate this knife over and over. I go, that's funny. I never was low health because anytime I got hit, I immediately healed and I never checked and investigated this knife once. So how did I get this ending? I have no freaking clue, but it's the
well,
ending I got. Um, but anyways, so there's different ways the ending can play out. The one I got, I was like, okay, I don't know how I got that, so I'm gonna do some research on all of them. I'm just since I'm never gonna play it again, I'm gonna see how all of them play out and see how they're different. But it's just from beginning to end, and it doesn't overwhelm you. There's not like a gazillion cutscenes but they're there enough to keep you intrigued. But that's what got me playing or keep
Mm.
playing the game. I thought the combat and everything, all the atmosphere, all that's top notch. But it was so tense that I didn't want to play it because it's very stressful. But at
mhm.
the same time, I was like, but I need to know what happens. Like, do you get my point? So I have to know. Plus, it was also like, well, once I get through this, I can focus on metaphor. So
Yeah.
I need to get through this.
Yeah, and
I
Kyle,
don't.
you were
I don't
Nice
saying
want
that
to.
this is
palate
like
cleanser.
the kind of game that's making you go, no, 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 please, 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 please
Yeah,
stop.
I was screaming my entire session today. Like I think I started. I was like, guys, I just screamed for my third time while playing this game. I must have screamed 10 more times since I sent out that message, like in the group or whatever. And I'm telling you, like, and it was always a crawler or something coming out from underneath something, or a lot of like now walk down this hallway and you're hearing all this noise. I'm just like, no, man, come on, no. There's just a lot of like, there's just a lot of this game really just working on your nerves and stuff like that. And it's all just really purposeful. And I just absolutely adore everything about it. And I'm really glad people are getting a chance to see it because I didn't realize how many people didn't really get to Silent Hill 2. It's revered in a
It
certain
is.
community, you know what I mean? But like, I don't think it's a,
It's a PS1 or
um,
PS2 game. PS1, right?
it's PS1. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I know
PS1.
it's like a favorite of a lot of
Yeah,
folks.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think, and it is considered the best in the series. And I did play the original, and beat it with a friend way back when, but it wasn't a game
nice.
I ever went back to because it was kind of terrifying, and I hated playing it. He was mostly driving, but for the most part. So
And hey, don't
I don't,
forget, guys, they made a Silent Hill movie starring Sean Bean. So
you know what? Can I say something? Kind of like
say it.
that movie. Kind
That's
of like
fair.
it. Yeah,
Listen, it's because Sean Bean. Even
yeah.
movies that are bad that he's in or mid, I like him a little more because he's in them. You know what I mean? Like
Pyramid
he's
Head
the
like
best.
peels off the skin of some lady in that movie, and it's rock and roll, dude. It's pretty awesome, man. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so Metaphor is out, Silent Hill 2 is out. Both are just crushing it with reviews and the
Yeah.
enjoyment that gamers are having playing it. Even more importantly than critics is gamers, actual players are loving it. And I gotta tell you, I'm hearing the same thing about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I know the
Mhm.
critics are giving it like low eights on average. It's like an 83 out of 100 type average. But it's a fighting game. It's very niche IP and game and
Mhm.
and genre. But hey, it's doing pretty well. And Kyle, you've played it at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, I played like 12 hours of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's more than a
Yeah,
little
I played
bit.
a lot of
Yeah.
it. I got early access on Monday, so I
Oh,
had a
okay.
week to play it. Yeah, it was my game before all this other stuff came out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good. I wouldn't spend too much time in it. It's Budokai Tenkaichi, So if people played that, that's what this is. Except it's a prettier version of that. It's definitely the best looking Dragon
The
Ball Z game
visuals look
ever.
so sharp.
It's so crazy. Everything is destructible. So if they put you in a
Mm.
city, you're gonna have so much fun throwing each other through buildings. It's very like Superman Returns or the Snyder
Okay.
Superman movie where they're like throwing each other through skyscrapers, everything's falling apart, stuff like that. Very
That's
cool,
kind of
very
fun.
big spectacle, very fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a competitive fighting game.
Does
I was
it
saying.
do they have a storyline or is it just a tournament?
Yeah. And
Okay.
the way that they present the story is always different. I'll tell you the hook of this one here in a second, but like this is not it is a fighting game, but like Fighter Z, like which the people who do Guilty Gear, like
Yeah.
that's a fighting game. You know what I mean? If
Okay.
you want to go play a
Got it.
Dragon Ball Z fighting game, that the best one ever made is there, and it's one of the
Got
best
it.
fighting games ever made. It's such a good game. This is definitely, I think I called it a spectacle factory in the group, and that's what it is. I
Yeah.
like it is. I would be shocked if people got online and like actually play this competitively and like really had a chip on their shoulder about being good at this game because like
Got
it
it.
is so not like a lot of finesse and stuff like that. I could see a lot of people like just button mashing this game. It's definitely how I play,
That's
maybe there's
absolutely
some
how I
fine
play fighting games.
maybe
Except
there's
for
some
Street Fighter
fine
2. That's the only
maybe
one
there
that
are
I
some
actually play
fine
with
yeah,
purpose.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some fine tuners out there who are really like honed in and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
like this game is definitely more about playing the story mode and playing like the world tournament mode, which is like it kind of like self creates with all the characters. There's like 180 characters in this game,
Holy
and
cow.
they throw it in like a randomizer and make a tournament out of it. And you touch the ground, you lose, just like in the anime and stuff like that. But the story hook in this game is instead of just going through the same story that you've been through 1,000 times, they have Super, which is the new version of Dragon Ball Z. They've never really kind of gone over those stories in a game, so you kind of have that stuff. They've touched on it a little bit in other games. This is kind of a little more hands-on. But the big twist is like they call them sparking events, and it's like you can make a different choice at an impasse, or maybe beat a guy with a non-canonical like way of beating them, and it'll veer you off in a completely different what-if path. And they have
Gotcha.
dozens of these
That's
like
fun.
really long-winded side story what-if paths or whatever. And the ones I've come across have been very fun and very inventive and very fan servicey and stuff like that. But like I said in the group, I'm surprised that this game is selling so well. I think just because Dragon Ball Z is pretty popular in the
It
anime
is.
community, so
Yeah.
those people are coming out and buying
It's
it.
one of the
But
more
like,
mainstream anime IPs, right? Has been for a long time.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, definitely one of the more mainstream. But like,
Yeah.
it is shocking. Like, you're not playing this game if you're not a Dragon Ball Z fan, kind of like all those
Right.
Naruto games that came out so long ago.
Oh
You're probably not
yeah.
playing those unless you're like a Naruto fan. So, if you're looking at this, you're not a Dragon Ball Z fan, you're looking to get into this. Like, I just don't know where your entry is here.
Do they yell sparking? Is that what the exclamation point is there?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Sparking! Sparking!
I guess that's what it was originally called over there in Japan too. So just like kind of we got
Oh, like the
Biohazard
Like
over
a
here.
Dragon thing and
It
Resident
is,
Evil
yeah.
Biohazard.
We're slowly like being like, all right, Japan, you can name your games what you want to name them. We're not gonna
You
like
can number your
Americanize
Final
it.
Fantasies how you want to. That's
Yeah. We're
fine.
finally
Yeah.
folding. So that's why it took on that moniker, is because it's actually the original name
Interesting.
of the series. But not
Okay,
much to say
gotcha.
about this one. I just
Nice.
if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, check it out. If you're not, go play Metaphor ReFantasio.
ReFantasio.
Fantasio.
Or there's not really an accent to say this one with. You could play the Vessel of Hatred DLC for Diablo 4 because I gotta tell you, for a game that I feel like this game's been a roller coaster from those who love it and then hate it so much, and now it feels like a lot of people are like
Back
reluctantly
on.
even back in. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if that's true or not, but are you both playing Vessel of Hatred?
I am. Are you playing it, Derek?
I played like an hour of it. I haven't played
Okay.
much. But
Okay.
yeah, I do own it, and I
Does it
plan
feel
on
like
playing.
okay, we're back, people, or is it kind of just more Diablo?
Well,
For
I
me,
mean,
good.
Kyle would be the better person to answer that because I did beat the campaign for the original like base game. But after that, I would only play it like if I was playing with Jesse or something like that. I never fell off liking it. Like I just liked it because I thought the story was
Mm,
good and I thought the game was fun. I
Yeah.
didn't get into the end game.
You didn't get
stuff.
into the end game meta, which I didn't
Yeah.
either, and I think that may have saved us from all this. Like, people are mad about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care
Whereas,
about
like,
that.
I kind of stopped after I played the story too, and that's how I played Diablo 3. I'm like, I'll wait until Necromancer DLC comes out, and then a year later that came out, and I picked it back up and played it again.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I did here. I haven't played really since launch after beating the game. Put like 100 and something hours in it because I beat the game with a lot of friends multiple
You
times.
guys loved this game last year.
Yeah,
or at least
I
really
was
liked
a
it.
good
I
game. It was a good
really
game.
enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
this just feels like more of that. All my friends are over it, so I'm playing it alone. Which I get, there's a lot of stuff out right now too. But that means I get to really enjoy the story, and I'm really
Yes.
enjoying the story a lot. Like it picks up right where the last game left off.
Yeah.
It is the next chapter. It is considered chapter 7 of the story,
Nice.
and
That's cool.
it gets right into it, and you just get your character. They've restructured everything, so if you're worried about like, oh, I don't know where my character is at, it doesn't matter where your character is at. Like, your gear is garbage now. Your everything is garbage. That's not level 100 cap. They've lowered that to 60 to make it easier to get to end game for characters. It's super streamlined. Everything is scaled to your level, and everything just seems really like I don't know, streamlined. I'll use that word again. It's just everything seems a little easier. Yeah. They don't throw as many numbers at you in terms of like your stats and stuff like that, but like it's still working the same way in the back end. It's just maybe not overdoing it with information on the front end.
Okay.
And
yeah.
it just feels a little cleaner. But the story is really cool, and you have a whole new area to explore. It's 12 hours long. The original Diablo, if you were just rushing through the story, is about 24 hours long. So this is half the size
Impressive.
of the original game.
But
Which,
it's expensive, isn't it? Or is that just to get the whole?
It's $40 for the whole expansion. Yeah.
40. I did
and
the
that gives you the base
$60
game too.
No, that's $40 on top
That's
of
a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah, it is a lot. It is in line kind of with what they've done with Diablo and stuff like that. But when you're thinking about stuff like CD Projekt Red, like, I don't know. I think you get a lot more bang for your buck for a lot cheaper, with a Witcher DLC.
It's like Destiny to me, and I actually feel like you're getting more content here. Don't
You
get me
are
wrong,
because
I
you
would
get the
play
story.
Destiny more, but yeah, the story's longer.
You get the story, but you get a lot of end game. You get raids.
Yeah.
You get like this comes with a lot. This comes with more than 12 hours of content. That's 12 hours to get to the story. It's like another 100 hours of content in terms of like all the dungeons and raids and all the little stuff that you can do as well. So
I didn't mind paying for it. Like, I actually bought the $60 version because it came with extra stuff, but then it also gave me another month of Game Pass
Season
Ultimate.
Pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I
nice.
was like,
okay.
yeah. So I was like, well, Game Pass Ultimate's almost $20, so I'm basically getting the extra stuff free. I'll just do it. But
it does feel expensive though. I'm not mad that I paid that, but like just in retrospect to maybe other pieces of expansions and contents, yes. Like how much was Cyberpunk's DLC? How much was
30?
Good question.
Was that 30?
30.
$29.99? That seems reasonable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe this would have been easier. I mean, it's selling all right, but
Diablo's always been a little overpriced. Same thing with Destiny.
It's Blizzard. You're kind of playing at Blizzard tax here.
Yeah.
A little bit too.
Destiny always charges $40 for their expansion.
And this is very much a Destiny templated. Like they're chasing that. Like
I think Blood and Wine was
MMO.
only 20. I think
Blood and Wine was. I think the stone, the Heart of Stone was like 15. I think it was $14.99.
Because it was less.
Yeah.
it was like a smaller.
But it was still like 20 hours. Yeah.
I think the pass for The Witcher 3 was like 30.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I think
Hearts of Stone was 10. Blood and Wine was 20.
Man. I think Hearts of Stone was.
So
like
maybe it was
$20
$20 for, because I got like the pass, and I think it was $20 for both of them. I'm pretty sure,
right.
20 or 25.
That sounds right to me.
I know it was
that's
less
spoiling us a little bit.
That's insane. You know what I mean?
Well, CD Projekt Red has always spoiled us.
They messed up Cyberpunk, so they suck and the worst.
Yeah, they're the
and
worst.
That's how we all feel about it. That's how all of us feel about it.
And you can't change it.
You can't change it. There's no taking it back.
I love that a game like Diablo 4 is able to kind of regain footing, at least with some fans. It sounds like a lot of fans that the general reaction seems to be positive.
Happy.
Some people
it's really hard to tell.
Some people will just always hate something that they've decided to hate. Like Starfield's a good example of that, Kyle. Like
they
decided to hate it, they're just gonna hate it.
You're
and
right.
that's
And I
that's it.
think Blizzard is kind of like, well, we're punching up. You know what I mean? So I think Blizzard, they're always a little harder. Look at how like Overwatch 2 was handled. Yes, that was a mess, but like people really turned on Blizzard with like
Good
Overwatch
point.
2. A lot of recent stuff that like people and Activision, when they merged with Activision, they became enemies with the enemy, you know, or I'm sorry, friends with the enemy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just think there's a lot of like built up like bullshit around Blizzard, but
I agree with that.
there's an okay game in here. You know, I'm not saying it's like go out and play it like right now. It is just more of what you enjoyed about the
I
first
mean,
game
I
with like
own it,
nice little
right?
fine
Because
tunes.
I bought the Xbox Series X, and it was the version that had Diablo 4 with it. So I
Mhm.
I have the base game,
Hmm.
and I didn't get super far into it.
And you get all those changes, by the way. Like this is the 2.0 of
Kind of
that. So
like
like
Cyberpunk. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So all those
Hmm.
like back end changes, like you're just not getting the new content, but like
Yeah, that makes
you get the
sense.
benefits of all the
I
restructuring of the
I will
mechanics.
say this. I started again, I haven't played a lot, but I started a new character and I used the new
Ooh, I
Spirit,
haven't
I think
tried them
it's
yet.
Spirit Born
Yep.
character class, and that's a selling point in itself. Because it's actually a really fun class to use. It's real quick, it's real fast, got a lot of like I'm leveling up I think fire and poison um attacks. So it's got a lot of like the type of attacks that I like in games. So I like to have like whenever I play Borderlands, I'm always going to choose a weapon that has like acid or lightning or something like that. I don't want
Yeah,
something that's just super powerful. I want something that's going to infect the enemy and drain them. So it
I
has that
gotcha.
plus the character is like the class is like faster. It's like almost like moves like a rogue, like it moves super quick. So
Yeah.
I enjoy the class. I think I'll enjoy the story. I don't know when I'll get to it because there's just a lot of games, but I still wanted to buy it to at least dabble in it because I thought it looked really good, and the reviews support it. I think it's above 80 on
It's
Metacritic.
like an
Uh,
86 or something, I think.
Oh, I didn't
yeah,
realize it was that high. Wow. Okay.
yeah, the
I think
reviewers
so.
like it, but I think the reviewers like the base game, and people still whine
Yeah,
about that.
the reviews. I think it was like a lot of nines, like with the base game. So
Yeah, it's
I
Yeah,
don't
got an
know.
I
80,
think
86 on PS5, 85 on PC. So like people are liking the Vessel of Hatred.
Diablo's strong. This is a strong IP, and I think it's again, this is like a really good piece of content, you know. And if you're really
Hmm.
hungry to get back into Diablo, or all your buddies are looking to play a game together, and y'all used to play Diablo, there's a lot of new content here. This is a lot of new
Yeah,
fun to have, you know.
agreed. Yeah, so that's at an 86 on Open Critic. Silent Hill's at an 87. Metaphor ReFantasio is at a 92. I mean, we're talking about
92.
some excellent games that are out right now. And that includes, oh, and Dragon Ball Z, no, sorry, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is at an 82. So
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
good.
that's
Yeah.
a really good game. But what about Starship Troopers Extermination? That's also out. I don't think that's getting the same level of reviews, but I do think it sounds like some good arcade fun. Is it
What
good
are the
arcade?
reviews for this? I haven't literally seen none.
Let's find out. Let's
This is
find
a
out.
janky, like low budget game. So like, no matter what review
There
score you're gonna
are
tell me,
only
I'm
two
not
reviews
shocked.
for it, and one's a 6, one's a 7.
That's
Sounds
about right.
right.
That sounds right. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Tim, I know you probably haven't played it. Derek, have you
Uh,
checked out this game? Because I know it was on PC in early access for the longest time. I think there were
Oh,
like free
really?
betas and stuff like that. I don't know if
okay.
I didn't know.
anybody had checked those out.
Hey, I
Um.
know Gaston's playing it. Good job,
Yeah,
Gaston.
me and Gaston are the only people on Earth playing this game.
There's two people
Um,
online.
yeah, yeah. I like this game a lot. It's just really janky. Like I wish
Yeah.
this game was given to a really high profile team, and the exact same thing was made. I don't know. I don't even think anything needs to be really added, except the campaign
The
feels a
drop
little.
off, Kyle, on recent reviews is crazy. So it was at an 84 in early access, 84% positive on
Oh,
Steam,
wow.
Mhm.
and now it's at a 52% positive on
Oh wow,
Steam.
on
Like
Steam. Okay.
just like the how it says recent reviews, so you
Yeah,
have an idea of like where the game is now, which I really like that, by the way. That's a
yeah.
really
I
smart
like that
feature.
too.
So the overall is still very positive at 84%, but the recent ones are not as good. So sometimes that's rare, but it does happen where a
I
game
think maybe
launches
launching
and
in 1.0, like I don't. This game feels janky. I mean, I don't really know how to play.
Yeah.
Like when you load into something, it takes like 4 to 5 minutes of the match until like things like stabilize. You're like, oh, okay, it's still framey, but at least it's not like full stuttering right now.
Yeah, crashes,
Uh,
server
um,
issues. Some people say I'll
haven't had any
change
of that
it.
That's
stuff on
why.
They'll
console,
say I'll change
but
it
that
to
doesn't surprise me.
positive once they fix controller support. So like some of it's kind of like holding their review
Yeah,
hostage a little bit.
sure, sure.
So that's interesting.
And there's not a lot of modes right now, but the modes are like, hey, you need to create, like, here's a level, and like you need to go and create these like forward operating bases, and like you'll hunker
Okay.
down, kill some stuff, go to the next area, hunker down, kill some stuff, and then you'll get to a final base, which like you build a base. And I don't know, guys, there was once upon a time, Fortnite wasn't what Fortnite was.
It's
Fortnite was
true.
a zombie wave-based shooter. If you don't believe me, it's because you were born, like this happened
I
before you were
bought
born.
it day one.
I
That's
bought it
how
day, and I
dumb.
the game
That's
I'm
how
about to
dumb I
describe to
was.
you,
Battle
I
Royale wasn't added till
loved.
later,
No,
right?
Battle
Yeah.
Royale was totally plucked from PUBG. They're like, oh, look at what
Yeah.
they're doing over here. But
Yeah.
Fortnite, when it originally came out, was a base building,
Yep.
crafting, like video game, not like Minecraft, but like borrowing some things from Minecraft to create this like really fun, like wave-based shooter. This is literally that. Like, it is absolutely that. There is nothing different about it. The building is really simple. There's like maybe 10 like items that you can build, but like it's all got a major purpose. You're restructuring walls when they'll break down the walls in between like waves and stuff like that. You have to build together. It's 16 players online. So it's 16 players against all this stuff. So it's super chaotic. It's not you and three dudes. It's you and 15 people.
That's
Like
fun.
it's a lot going on, and everyone's kind of got their role. Like some
I mean,
people are
it's no
medics and
mag MAG, but it's still pretty good.
no mag. Yeah.
What was it, like 256 or whatever that
Oh
one? Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
played
loved
it.
the concept of mag. I hated
Yeah, me
playing
too.
that game so much.
Yeah, fair. Yeah,
Even though I
fair.
played it quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, but this game is a lot of fun. There's a lot of really good ideas here, and there are just horde modes where it's like you're 10 waves survival. You're
Yeah.
building a big base, set up turrets, but like the turrets run out of ammo. You have to refill the ammo. Ammo takes things to build. Takes crafting components away and stuff like that. So everything just costs, and you're constantly having to make sure that you're like surviving between the rounds and you using the economy between rounds properly. It's very interesting. Just wish the game played a little better.
That's fair.
Wish the game played a lot better. But what is there? I think if they just keep on working on it, it's fun. It sounds like all the DLC and expansions are going to be free with this game, so they're not
Oh,
going to nickel
cool.
and dime you later. If you want to spend $10 on new skins, you can, but that's kind of where they're getting their money if that's what people want to do. It's fun. Maybe wait for a sale and wait for some updates before you pick it up, though.
Okay, fair enough. That's good. Hey, I want to highlight one that I played the demo of called Sky Oceans Wings for Hire. We'll actually have the
I want this game bad.
a Let's Play video up of that. I think next week I have it scheduled. Anyway, I recorded my opening like, hour or so with the game. And this is this is an indie developed game. So expectations need to be in check in terms of overall technical quality. It looks like a old game that was remastered. Like that's like expect that going in. Like, hey, this is gonna look like a game from probably 2 generations ago, and they've just really increased the graphic fidelity. Some of the characters look nice and sharp, but it is a pretty empty space. And like, for example, in a town there'll be like two paths to walk, and one of them has a tree with a chest underneath it, and like that's how they reward you for exploring a little bit. You know what I mean? It's not super in-depth created. When you play really in-depth RPGs now, it's just not fair to compare it to this one. So I just want to set the table with that first. It is very simple. It's very lighthearted. I like the colorful art style. The story. I mean, it's very Skies of Arcadia, just in terms of the setting and visual style, all that stuff. And you are definitely in these airplanes and airships and stuff like that. That all that's happening. The combat's happening in the air, and you're attacking, and you build up special attacks to take, and they're usually elemental attacks to take on these monsters and stuff. So it's
There's
a
like
pretty
ship to ship
cool
combat too, isn't there?
ship to ship combat. Yeah, you're in the air. Like that's all I've experienced so far in my time playing it. So I thought it's a turn-based thing though. So like you take your time, you kind of just keep flying in circles while you're waiting to pick what you're gonna do. And
Mm-hmm.
so, it's turn-based to that effect. So anyway, I think it's cool idea. It's pretty fun. It's a nice kind of throwback to that style of game, but it certainly feels like, even though it's a brand new game, it feels like a dated game that's been updated, if that makes sense. So just go into it with those kind of expectations. There is a demo for it, so I highly recommend trying the demo on Steam. before, but it is also not that expensive. I don't think it's that expensive. Let me just double check. It is right now. It's on sale for 22.50. Full price is normally 25. I actually do think that's a fair price because you're getting a nice long JRPG story. Like that's a decent price. So anyway,
Yeah.
so I think I like it. I think it's cool,
I think
but
it looks cool. Yeah, I think the
yeah,
whole idea. I think it really is relying on this guy's Arcadia fans to show up, and
big
like
time,
that's cool. They're out there.
big time. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it does not have a huge development team behind it. I think that's pretty clear. And so, yeah, just go into it with kind of expectations in check. I do think you'll have a good time though if you like those kind of throwback JRPG. So that one's pretty cool. Um, Also out this week, there's this open world game called Europa. I don't know a ton about it, but that one is out. People are liking that. Transformers Galactic Trials. I don't know anything about it other than the name
I
Transformers.
bet you Gaston's playing it. We should have.
Gaston's probably all over
We'll
it.
check with
Yeah,
you. We'll check with
yeah.
you on Monday, Gaston. How you're
Yeah.
liking it?
Everyone pause. We're gonna pause to let you all go Google it and look at it. And we're back. Okay, very good. I'm glad you had fun looking at that. Also, this game called Shady Night, which I think has a great visual style. It kind of reminds me of Ghost Runner a little bit. You're running around slicing and dicing using this chain to kind of grapple to them quicker.
It does look
So
cool.
it neon white
Cool.
Ghost Runner kind of a thing. And you're just slicing things up, and you are literally a shady knight. That's what's happening. So that is out as well. I thought we could actually, instead of going into like news and stuff right away, talk about other things you're playing now as opposed to at the end. And anything that's either, even if it's not new, anything else you're playing that you want to highlight. So to give you guys a second in case you need it to bring those up, I'll just mention that I finished the Shattered Space DLC for Starfield right after we recorded. Actually, it was like the next day after we recorded. I finished the DLC, and I'll stand by what I said with Kyle on the show last week. I liked it, and I know that a lot of people don't, and that's fine. They don't think it's worth the money. Okay, but I had already bought the whatever edition that gave me early access to it last year, so I got the DLC for free because I bought like the whatever edition for another 20, $30 or something. So I essentially already paid for the DLC. Um so I really liked it, man. I thought it was super fun. So I really enjoyed the Shattered Space DLC. It's more Starfield. I do think it's a little more focused, and I think it's a better game than what I played before. But if you don't like it, it's totally fine. I played a demo for this game called Monomyth that I wanted to highlight. This is like a first person dungeon crawly like fantasy RPG. Definitely has old school vibes, but I thought it looked and ran really well in the demo that I played for it. It's tough. Like you kind of have to pick your character has a weird old game look to their face. Like their faces look really stupid actually, but you're in first person, so after you create your character, you don't see your face anymore. But yeah, the idea is like you equip a sword or a tome if you want to cast magic or whatever other a dagger, that kind of thing, and you're leveling up. It's very RPG style, and things kill you quickly. Even the early skeletons that you find, you have to dodge or block, or you're gonna die pretty quick. So it's kind of a difficult first-person dungeon crawler RPG called Monomyth that came out last week. And last but not least, shout out to our buddy Jeff for recommending this when he played it last year. I got Tape to Tape, which is a yes, it's a roguelike game, but it's a hockey game. It's like plays like NHL 94 or 97 or whatever. Some of those classic games I played in the 90s. I don't really play hockey games anymore. I'm not very good at them. I used to love Wayne Gretzky hockey for the N64, but that was kind of like NBA Jam where you like would get superpowers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
two buttons. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. So
yeah.
I loved the arcade version, and I do have fond memories of NHL 94. So anyway, Tape to Tape plays a lot like that, but the idea is that you go through and you have you have one superstar along with your main character that you can recruit on your team. You can have special abilities, and then you have like these no-name bench warmers. Over time, you unlock other superstars to join you, and they're named characters with their own special abilities and attributes, and you make it as far as you can through like this journey of playing against these hockey teams. And there's like a weird funny fantasy Norwegian looking environment that you're in, or Canadian maybe. And so I thought it was pretty fun. And then when you go back, you upgrade stuff permanently. Like my speed has been upgraded twice permanently. My shot accuracy has been upgraded because you kind of stink at the beginning. You have to rely a lot on quick pass shot and hope that it goes in, in order to win. But over time, you get better and your character's faster. You have cooler powers. So I think it's a really fun little hockey game. with a decent little story to it too. So tape to tape, I do recommend. But Derek, what about you? Anything else you're playing that's not new that you want to highlight?
I'll make it quick. But since I'm not on the show a lot, I'll just list off some of the games I beat recently. So probably in the last few weeks, I finished Star Wars Outlaws, so I just want to give it a shout out real quick. Because my opinion of it wasn't super high when I first started it, but by the time I got to the end of it, I landed at an 8. I really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the world, the universe, obviously being Star Wars. There's some things they could clean up and make better. I do know while I was playing it, they were patching it and they did improve some things for sure.
Yep.
But this is definitely a game that they
Apparently
could.
next month, some big things they're planning on rolling out. Maybe.
Yeah, they're doing the whole we're rolling out DLC and a lot of changes to our game
Yeah.
like thing. I'm
Good.
like, that's been working lately. Yeah.
I mean, I bought the $120 version
I
or
did
whatever, the
too.
Ultimate
Yeah, I'm an
Edition.
idiot.
So
Yeah, I bought that one too.
whatever they're releasing, I'll have access to,
And I'm gonna
and
play it.
I'm gonna play it because I liked it. So
Yeah,
I thought
cool.
that was a really good game. Next on my hit list was Persona 3 Reloaded. I just
Nice.
finished that like a week and a half ago. Not even a week and a half ago, probably literally last weekend. Amazing game. Really, really liked it. Still took me a long time, like Persona 5, not as long, but I thought it was going to be a little bit shorter, and I was like, no, this bad boy just keeps going, just keeps going.
Yeah.
Could you stop? But I really, really liked it. Good story, fun characters. You can definitely see. I kind of wish I would have played 3 first and then played 5, because
Yeah.
when you played 5, you realize how much 5 mirrored 3. And probably the same with 4. I haven't ever played 4.
They're all pretty templated.
But like, but even like the characters, like I'm like, oh, these characters are almost the exact same and stuff like that. But the story was drastically different.
Oh yeah,
And
your best bro friend is the same like in all 3 games.
Yeah.
I'm just a kind of an idiot who like has your back,
Yeah.
bro. You know,
I'm like,
that's
bro,
true.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about archetypes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're literally when you were mentioning like metaphor, you're like your main protagonist has blue hair. I'm like that's like almost every main
All the
protagonist
Persona
in
games.
they
Yeah.
either have dark blue hair or black, but they all
Yeah.
have the same haircut, same style. I'm like,
You
can
kind of
we?
have a bro best friend in Fantasio metaphor
Yeah,
too. Yeah, he's kind of
yeah.
like that. Come on, man. You know,
I'm
let's.
hoping he's a little bit
Yeah,
smarter though.
he's
He
not
seems
as
smarter.
dumb. Yeah, he
Yeah,
seems
he's
very.
not dumb.
And I like it a lot more than other ones. But like, he's your bro, and he's definitely got your back. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that one. I gave that one a 9. And then on a negative note, I foolishly, because I'm a fanboy, bought Mortal Kombat 1 Chaos
Oh.
Reigns DLC. That is the worst $50 that I've spent in a gaming
$50.
business.
This was
Well,
not
I think it
marketed
came
at
with
all. This deal, I'm
oh,
telling you, dude. I've got my finger on the
it's
pulse. I'm
terrible.
always watching like game stuff, and like I never saw not until like a week or the week of where they were releasing trailers for this.
Yeah, it
Like
was
I
so
had,
bad.
I had heard it was coming out, but like there was almost nothing known about it.
Chaos
Keep
with
in
the K.
mind,
Chaos with a K.
keep in mind the 3 characters that they released, like the character packs that came with this,
Yeah.
or at least the version I bought came with it. They're 3 of my favorite. Like Sector is like top 3
Yeah.
favorite
All
Mortal
the
Kombat
robots
character
are pretty
of all
cool.
time.
Yeah.
Cyrax I like a little less, but Sector's always been my jam. And then I love Noob Saibot. So it's not an issue of like who they had join the game and who you use in the DLC. They're all cool. It's the writing's terrible. The story is terrible. It took me about an hour and a half to 2 hours to get through, which made me even more mad because I'm like, I literally paid $25 an hour because I'm not going to play this game
Yeah.
anymore. Like, this is stupid. This was dumb of me to buy. So
It's
yeah,
got
I
a
gave that a
66
4
on
out of 10.
OpenCritic.
It's
So it's
terrible.
not
I
doing
gave
well.
it a
And
I gave
like
it a 4.
it's mirror like Aftermath, which was 11's like expansion or whatever, very beloved, and everyone really. So
I
it's
like
like
that one.
I really thought that they were like maybe had a groove or maybe a template that they were going by that they a known game plan
That's
that worked, and
that's
just
what
nope.
I was expecting. And to be honest, to be fair, I'm kind of over the thing they're doing because I didn't really talk about it on the show because I had kind of dropped off the show by the time Mortal Kombat 1 really launched.
Mhm.
But that game was a disappointment for me personally. Again, I understand you play
Yeah.
what they create, but I wanted something more. I'm tired of the same, like, hey, this is how we do the story mode, and it's literally the same thing they've been doing since 9. So 9, 10, 11, 1.
Well,
This
but I
is the
didn't
fourth
care
version.
about like
Yeah.
the second it was like, well, this is like a multiverse thing. I'm like, I'm out,
Yeah.
dude. Sorry.
So I
I'm
didn't
like,
care about the
can't.
story as much.
I'm so checked out on that whole concept. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm over the way they're presenting the single player content. I know I'm not their audience. Their main audience is like tournaments and all that. I get that.
Yeah,
But
online.
but they know they have a single player audience. That's why they're the highest selling like
Yeah.
fighting genre because or a game because or franchise because they are they sell single player the most. So that's the content I care about, and they let me down with MK1. I thought
And
that was a
I'm fine if
letdown.
they leave this style of narrative, but like you gotta add more single player content. Where's
Yeah.
this? Where's the 3D mode we all want? Where's the
I
action mode we all
still
want?
want I
Where's the
want like an
crypt? You
action
know, where's
adventure.
where's like the
Mhm.
board game thing was cool, but like you need to go further. You know, like
Yeah.
you need to cater to like what I'm
Let's
imagining is half of your audience, which is a single player people.
Sorry about that. I think
I
you
just
guys can still
I
hear
just
hear
assumed
me.
you
Yeah,
got
we can hear you.
naked, and so Skype was like, turn his camera off. Like I just
Yeah.
assumed.
No,
Our
my
FBI handler is like, we
Yeah.
gotta guard this.
all right. Whatever. You guys can see. I don't even know what is that my
Metaphor is
background?
gone.
No,
Like what the heck happened?
you're in Silent Hill right now. You're in a
I
dark room,
know.
no
This is
flashlight.
creepy. I'm like, is this my room?
Dude,
Um
something could come up from behind you right now. Like that's the
I'm already
setting you've
seeing
got.
four-legged nurses, to be honest.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's right
thanks.
there.
So
I
Mortal
see it.
Kombat
It's right
1
there.
Chaos Reigns terrible. On a positive note, I finished Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I finished it because I was at the end when the new one came out. I talked about this with Tim on my podcast, so I'm not going to go over anything with it. I came out with that game being like an 8.5 for me. I really enjoyed it. It's not my style of Zelda game. I prefer the games that are being released now, but I did enjoy this old school game and the aesthetics of it is top notch. Like I love just looking
Yep.
at these games, especially even
So
the
magical.
new release. Yeah. It
Just
just
so
gives
much
you
character.
nostalgia and I just really like it. And then one last game. This is one that I just jumped into. Don't know if I'll play it much more, not because it sucks, but just because of everything that's coming out. But I jumped back into Like a Dragon.
Infinite wealth.
Yeah, I
I'm
forgot the
infinitely
name.
happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I jumped back into that. I'm trying to get to Hawaii, so I'm still
You
where I'm
haven't got it.
at.
That's
Yeah, I'm like in the very
you
beginning of the
gotta get to
game.
Hawaii, man. It's like hour 4 or something. Like maybe it's further. I don't know. I haven't played that game
I
in a long
think
time. So.
I think I'm now like 2 hours in.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
like 4 or 5. You'll be
he
there.
he lost all of them lost their jobs. I'm like all of you guys lost your jobs together. They're all losers right now, and they've
Dude,
now
that's the whole theme of the last game too. Is
You're
yeah.
like
all losers.
these bunch
You're all
of
losers.
losers are not going to change anything, and then they change everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
unlikely heroes.
they're all back to being losers again, but now they've just made the decision to go and
I
fight.
love that scene too, where
Oh
like
my
they're
gosh.
cheering, and it's like
It's so funny because
people
this
are
is
like, are they
like
crazy? What's going on here? Yeah,
oh yeah, the part where they're all doing it in the middle of the street and everybody's
yeah.
like, what
What the
the
heck
hell
is
is
going
going
on
on?
with these guys?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
very
just
self-aware.
booted that back up. I beat I'm gonna call it the first one. We all know it's like the seventh game, but I beat
Yeah, like a
the
dragon.
first one first
Yeah.
earlier this year. So I really wanted to play this one.
Yeah.
So I definitely, and I've noticed a shift in my gaming. Like I'm prioritizing RPGs more.
Yeah.
So I am knocking them off lists faster than I ever have before because I'm just like,
Which bodes well for a metaphor completion for you
yeah,
Yeah,
moving
yeah.
forward.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
more confident that I will. If I don't beat it right away, I'll at least beat it like
I
within
know
3
that
to
the
6 months.
40-hour break will probably happen because that's about
Mm.
when the other game will come out. Thou shalt not be named,
Yeah.
and then it
Yeah.
will just be about that game.
Oh, the new Jedi Survivor or whatever game?
The
Yeah.
new PS4
Yeah,
version
yeah,
of Jedi
yeah.
Survivor.
Got
Yeah,
it.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. that allows me to explore. No, don't even get me started on that. They cut stuff out of that game that I'm like, all right,
Yeah, they're cutting exploration out of that
I'm
game
a little
almost completely.
nervous about that release.
It's going to be
We'll
Final
see.
Fantasy 16. That's what it is.
That's exactly what I said. I think it was with Jesse and Rob in my chat. I was like, look, I have all these things that I'm concerned with this game, but I've decided in my brain. This is literally what I said. I was like, yeah, I've decided this is just Final Fantasy 16. You love Final Fantasy 16. You're gonna
it's
be
okay.
okay. You're gonna be okay. So I'm excited about the launch, but I have to.
They just know that they're like, everyone likes the story. Let's just give them the story just streamlined, you know. And people like, we like Dragon Age 2. Sorry to go on a tirade about it, but like people hated that whole area, that you know, that whole open area in the game that everyone.
Oh, I loved it.
Me too. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. But like, there was so much
critics.
There was so much blowback about. I forget what that area is called. Like, but
Hinterlands.
Yeah, the meme was get out of the hinterlands. Like that was like the whole like you don't
the
need to stay there.
developers
Just move
had
on.
to come out and tell them, guys.
You guys stop staying there.
We didn't want you to stay
You're
there
supposed to do all that content across the whole game, not at the first like 10 minutes, you know. But it wasn't telegraphed that way. So like they took that. Awesome. They took that critic to heart, and they're like, you don't get that at all now, you know. So people like me and Derek might be a little bummed, but I don't care if it's good. It's Final Fantasy 16, man. Yeah, who hates that game?
I'll be okay.
Wrong people, that too.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, Kai, what about you? What else? Anything else other than new stuff?
I honestly,
you've been busy with all the new games.
I've only been playing new stuff, so yeah, we don't need to waste any time on me because I nothing.
Well, we know that there's other stuff coming out this month. There's some stuff to get excited about. I think if you're a PS Plus subscriber and you've been waiting on some games, there's some really cool ones that are dropping this coming week, including Dead Island 2, 2 Point Campus, the Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me, Grease, Return to Monkey Island, Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed, and a few others Ghost Recon Wildlands I thought was worth calling out too. That's been there before, but it's back on PS Plus. So there's a wide variety of genres of games that PS Plus is. So I want to call it out because we do that for Game Pass too, and Game Pass has a nice wave of really cool games added. So PS Plus deserves it as well. That's pretty cool that those are all hitting.
That's super cool.
Sony's service this coming week. The Tomb Raider 4 through 6 remastered games were announced for February, and that includes Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation from '99, Tomb Raider Chronicles from 2000, and Tomb Raider: The Angel of Darkness from 2003. And so they're going to be on all consoles, including the Switch, on February 14th this year, or this coming year. So each one's going to be remastered with improved visuals, modern control options, photo mode, trophies, achievements, and more, according to Crystal Dynamics. It's being handled by Aspire.
I remember really liking Dark Angel. That's the only one that I think I played out of that batch.
Okay, yeah.
Aspire does good work though, right?
I think so.
They're hitting more hits, I'd say. Yeah, they're a double A remake studio who is 1,000% not making the Star Wars.
They have done all the Star Wars stuff.
But not Knights of the Republic remake, which they are
not that one. But they are doing Jedi Power Battles. So that is the latest.
How are they doing all of these and remaking? Okay,
I don't know because they did Star Wars Bounty Hunter. They're supposedly working on Coder. Doubt it. They did the Republic Commando, Force Unleashed. These are things that they. Oh, you know what? They actually did a Coder like a re-release, just like a port maybe, but on not Switch, not the remake,
which is really good.
Right.
That's where I'm playing it.
Yeah.
But no, this is a real remake with like real new assets and stuff like that. And there's no way that's happening. So
Jedi Power Battles though, PS1 game. It's coming out January 23rd of this year too. So Aspire is staying very busy. They're gonna be leveraging those IPs, the Tomb Raiders, the Star Wars. And last but not least, I thought this was worth calling out because I'm very excited for this. I'm absolutely buying this, and I know I'm part of the problem. But Rockstar has announced the Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare are hitting PC at the end of this month. They're going to be on the Rockstar Store, Steam, and the Epic Games Store. I'm absolutely.
This is
not
being part of the problem, though. Y'all never got this game on PC.
That's true.
So
That's true.
like this is again righting old wrongs. You know.
Here's the improvements that they're adding: native 4K resolution up to 144 hertz on compatible hardware, monitor support for ultra wide and super ultra wide, HDR10 support, full keyboard and mouse functionality, including support for NVIDIA DSS a DLSS, AMD FSR, upscaling, frame generation, adjustable draw distances, shadow quality. So they're like, we're gonna make it prettier. That's gonna be a big part of this. So you're on PC, you want to be able to adjust all your sliders and make everything look whatever your system can power. But I am most excited. I gotta be honest. Like I want to play the main game again because I love the end of 2, and I want to get into the main game again because it really feeds right into it. But I want to replay Undead Nightmare. It's been so long.
I never
Um,
played that.
It's so
you never
good,
did?
I
man.
owned it, but I never
So
played it.
good. It's so awesome.
I actually have it sitting.
There it is.
Isn't it?
Oh, that's
Isn't
funny.
it 4K on Xbox?
It is, yeah. It's 4K
Yes,
on
but this is
Xbox
on
and
first time on PC. So I think
yeah.
if you already have these upgrades on a console and you're happy with it, this won't apply to you.
And
But
I played those this year. I played the one on PS5 this year.
Yeah.
That remake was very fun. It was very well put together. I don't know if it had all these like shading stuff. Like maybe they're going an extra mile with PC, but like it looked the way I remember it, which like rarely ever happens. You know what I mean? Like usually when you think about a game, it looks way better in your head than you remember. But this kind of I'm like, oh yeah, this looks good. This looks
how
all
wild
right.
that they took their Red Dead Revolver game, which was it was whatever. It
I
was
think they
fine.
picked that up from someone who was underneath their umbrella, who like totally made kind of a dumb,
And they were
third
like, let's
person.
do Grand Theft Auto in the Old West.
Yeah.
And
Well, like
they
why take that?
crushed
Like
it.
that game really didn't have like there wasn't like an IP loyalty to that. They took a bad game and turned
Yeah.
it into a fantastic franchise. Like
Yeah.
it's so insane.
Like when they announce RDR3, I'm gonna lose my mind just because I love these games so much. Whenever that is, when I'm
Yeah.
80 or whatever.
20
Yeah.
years from now.
Yeah, that game is
Yeah.
never coming. Yeah, it's
That's
very
never gonna
cute
happen.
that you think that's real. Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up. Let me dream. So yeah, I'm excited for that. That to me was some of the more exciting news. But hey, we're gonna wrap things up with we're gonna take a stab together at some blind rankings. So let me share my screen with you guys as we close out here. Start sharing. There we go. All right, can you see this?
Yes.
Here's how we're gonna do it. As you can see on the screen already, there's Super Mario is the first option. I haven't done this, so we're gonna take turns. So
Okay.
we're not gonna vote together, but we're gonna take turns ranking it. So and we're just gonna go alphabetically. So it's gonna go Derek, Kyle, Tim. We're just gonna rotate through. So Derek has to rank this one. I don't know for sure. I would imagine based on what I'm seeing, this is like Super Mario franchise that we're ranking. It wasn't very specific. Most of the video game categories I saw
Has
on
a
this.
card.
So that's however you want to rank it, man. So I don't, but it just says video games was the name of this category. They didn't have
Okay.
like overall or franchises. They didn't get very specific. It just said
I'm
video
gonna
games. So
I'm gonna drop it to a 4.
4. All right.
Yeah.
So Kyle, you're next. Grand Theft Auto. I assume this is like the whole series.
2. Yeah.
All right.
2.
Kyle takes 2. I get to WWE 2K. I'm putting that at 5. You guys,
Yeah,
sorry.
that seems right.
Derek, Halo goes in 1 or 3.
I'm gonna go 1. I love Halo.
All right,
okay with that.
Kyle. We're stuck with Tetris at
I'm
3.
okay.
That's fine.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
That's
with
not
that.
bad. That's not.
I like
and it
Tetris,
gives you the
yeah.
averages.
I
over here,
would
so-
I would have only moved Super Mario above Tetris, and then I would have left everything the same.
Yeah, the
This-
Grand Theft Auto and Super Mario both average above a 2. It looks like if you see the averages here, the average rank.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That's cool.
And WWE 2K doesn't like it so much. All right, let's do another one. Here we go. So this time, Kyle, you're gonna go first since you didn't get to go last. time.
Pac-Man 5.
Pac-Man. Pac-Man's at a 5.
There's no
All right.
loyalty to nostalgia
Fortnite.
here.
I'd put
Absolutely
it below
none.
Pac-Man. All right,
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry everybody. Oh.
Mortal Kombat, Derek. It's your turn.
Number 1.
Really?
After-
All right.
After I just
After
complained
what you
about
just
it.
said, you're putting it at 1?
All right. Kyle, The
Absolutely.
Sims.
Your
Oh,
guys are gonna
3.
thank me after seeing all this.
3.
Sims, get the freak out of
Minecraft.
here.
I
Yeah,
don't like any of
Right, he's
these.
right.
Mortal Kombat 1 is
Wow.
Minecraft.
Oh my god, yeah. He went with his heart, but it was ended up being right.
All right, so I go first this time. Here we go. WWE 2K again. You know what? I'm gonna try to. I'm just gonna. Can I hit refresh since we saw
Yeah,
this
go
one
ahead.
already?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, here we
we
go.
already did
Refresh.
that one.
We did that one too.
No,
Minecraft. All right, here
Oh,
we go.
there we go. There we go.
Cyberpunk. So I have to go first. This is tough. I'm gonna put it. I'm just gonna leave it at 3. It feels like a safe spot to
Ooh.
start with. I'll leave it at 3. Mortal Kombat to you, Derek.
Don't do it.
I'll
Derek.
I'll drop it. I'll leave it at 4. Let's leave it at
4. All right. Kyle, Dota.
Oh,
Go to
my
5
God.
off the list. Get it out of here.
It's my turn. Rocket League.
Oh.
Oof. I'm gonna put it at 2. We'll see. what gets ranked at
We're gonna
1.
get a shit game now.
Oh, who win?
I knew it. I
Crap.
knew it.
Crap. All right, hey, how do you exclude? Okay, let's exclude all of them. So that way we can
Oh, that's a
not
good
do it
idea.
again.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. How do you exclude again? Let's just
Uh,
refresh. Okay, here we go. NBA 2K. Derek, we start off our last round here.
Five.
All right, 5. Kyle, Mortal Kombat. Oh, you know what? Let's do it one more time. Let me just randomly pick these real quick and see if I can exclude all these because they look familiar. Okay, let me exclude.
Tetris.
Okay. Let's exclude again. Hang on. Let's do these randomly. See if I can get rid of some of these. Unless it doesn't work this way. I don't know how much the system remembers.
I don't know why it's only giving it's only picking from like 20 games.
Yeah,
like they know there's
there
like a
are
Okay, here we go.
thousands of games,
Here we go. So Derek, right? You go
Oh,
first.
that's a 5.
Pokemon at 5. Okay. All right.
I hate
Kyle.
it.
Oh man.
Sorry, see?
WW2K.
I'm gonna put it at 4, but Jesus Christ.
Pokemon's way better than that. The Sims.
What is this?
I don't know. I don't like it. 3. Derek, Pac-Man.
Wow.
2.
I thought we
there's 6
excluded
games.
it.
Yeah, we did.
And Counter-Strike's number 1. I don't feel
This
good
is
about
the
this.
worst. That's actually one that I would put Pokemon at 1, and I don't like Pokemon.
Yeah, see, I told you.
All right. We're gonna try something. We're gonna try one more round. We're gonna do 10.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna try to turn off popular choices.
Okay.
I'm just gonna try it. See if this
Everyone
thing.
hates Cyberpunk.
Okay.
Okay, we got Rocket League. Kyle, you get to go first. We're doing 10. We're doing 10 this time.
Let's put it at 7, I guess.
7. All right. Football Manager. That's at a 10.
What is
Hey, I unchecked popular. Okay,
yeah,
so
well, we're paying
God of
for,
War.
yeah, everybody hates God of War.
Let's go to 2.
Got to be careful, you know.
That's pretty
we
good.
should just put that at 1 now. Like the Sims is gonna get
Cyberpunk. Kyle, where's that going?
number 1.
All right,
Sorry,
he picks
number 1.
He picks number 1.
Sorry, everybody.
Pac-Man's at a 9. What do you? Why I have to
Get
Football
it out
Manager?
of here. At this
Pac-Man?
point, I just don't like you, Pac-Man.
I know.
Crash Bandicoot, Gaston.
Oh man.
Derek, where are you putting it?
An 8. I wish I could delete it.
Ooh, Red Dead Redemption. I'm putting that at. That's Kyle. It's you. Sorry.
Yeah, it's as high as it can go.
So 3.
Yeah.
3. Okay. My turn. FIFA 6. Dang it. I'd put Rocket League
so
far.
I'm not
above
that
these.
mad at that.
Yeah, I was mad. I'm mad about Rocket League now.
All right, Halo's at a 4 or 5, Derek.
4.
All right. And we're stuck with The Last of Us at number 5.
We actually finally got some good
Hey,
games
listen,
on there.
our top 5, pretty
I
good.
like our top 5.
Yeah,
pretty good.
The bottom 5, besides Rocket League, can go suck it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Crash Bandicoot. That's kind of funny. It's just so random. It's clearly like this automated system that I don't know what algorithm goes into. It's very, very.
Yeah.
Yeah, the algorithm.
Unpick popular choices to like.
The
have
algorithm
it, like,
is pretty clear. They want you to like Pac-Man. There's like.
Yeah,
Pac-Man,
they're really like
Pac-Man.
people love Pac-Man. I'm like we love
Let's do one more.
All we had.
Let's do
All
one
right.
more. Now that I've excluded, let's see if it does it. So this time I'm going first. So Destiny, I'm gonna put it at 8 to start with. Roblox. Derek.
You know what to do.
10.
Yeah, kick it off the list. Roblox is horrible.
Oh
WWE,
my
Kyle.
9, just give it at 9. Jesus Christ.
Yes,
WWE.
leave that trash.
Crash Bandicoot. They refuse to be excluded. I'm gonna put it at 7. Derek, Among Us.
Ugh.
6. I hate
working
every
our way
game
up.
except Destiny so far.
Uncharted, Kyle.
We might as well. I don't know what else is going to be on this list.
You gotta put it at 1. Yeah.
I'm gonna put it at 1, yeah, because
All right.
I am not gonna let the RNG win.
Minecraft.
See?
I'm gonna put it at 5. Derek, what's PES?
The soccer game.
Soccer.
yeah.
Soccer. Yeah.
4.
Konami
All
Soccer.
right. The Sims, Kyle. Where's it going?
You, this is so awful. 3. This is so bad. Uncharted's like, come
And
on.
then FIFA's 2.
What is this list? What is this?
Why do they just keep giving us the same game?
I don't know. I'm hitting exclude, right? Okay. Excluded items. Well, whatever. So this system doesn't work super great. This is not a good advertisement for whatever this blindrank.net. So whatever. But it's still fun. It's still fun to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It enrages me, but it's fun.
Yeah. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna get mad. Not gonna happen. All right, well, that does it for this week's show. Thank you guys for being here. Metaphor, Silent Hill, Diablo 4 DLC. We got Dragon Ball game. We got a Skies of Arcadia kind of homage game. There's lots of cool stuff out this week. So make sure you guys are checking those things out. And make sure you go to our YouTube channel. That's really where we're trying to put out more content. I got Let's Plays going up. We got, don't forget Derek's show. What are you playing? If Jeff comes back, he's going to start doing more of the cinema podcast stuff. I'm putting up YouTube shorts. Like I just put up one of my son watching The Sixth Sense for the first time, and I filmed his reaction to it, which was pretty fun.
Wow,
Because
what
he did.
happens in that movie? Was
He
there
just.
big twist?
It was just boring. He fell asleep. That's the thing. No, but what's funny is he had a very honest reaction of like, I get it now. You know, he just kind of had this like dude reaction to that movie. I loved
That's
it.
cool.
So yeah, any support you guys can give us on YouTube is great. But thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Thank you too for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.